Hey guys, citizens, how's your spirit? Mine, soggy. Seriously, it started storming sometime around 1 and it hasn't stopped. I'm supposed to be recording this outside because, well, my whole premise is to turn this into a podcast called Pearls from the Porch. I'll explain in a little bit, but basically, I'm disabled. I spend a lot of time on my porch. I see a lot, I hear a lot, I think a lot. And so I would like to be able to share those things with y'all. But today, we're going to talk about how I murdered a fat chick. Yep, little old me. 15 years ago, I had to make a decision. What was more important to me? Um, Seeing my sons graduate from high school or just existing, right? And I was a stay at home mother. I had three young boys, and I couldn't quite figure out what I was going to do with myself. So I should probably give a little bit of backstory. Um, I was married in in October of 1995. My mother passed away in April of 1996. And I had my first child on in March of 96. And so early on in my young adult life, I was hit well hard with a rather debilitating depression, and that snowballed. It didn't take long. If you start out at 175 pounds, you have a baby, you lose your mother, you're more concerned with everybody else's needs than your, no, your own. That easily grows to 200. And then from there, you have two more children. You live another few years. And by the time you know it, you've gone from 19 to 31 and from 175 pounds to 330. And you're sitting in the doctor's office and he's saying to you, do you want to live to see your children graduate from high school? Three young boys. In 2007, the oldest was just 11 years old. This man was telling me I didn't have another 8 years, let alone 13, 20, 40, if I didn't get my life together. It was hard. I mean, really and truly hard. I had to change a lot of things about myself, right? And one of the things that I had to really sit down and deal with was my fat chick. How'd she get there? Like, you don't magically become 330 pounds. You have to do something. Or I guess in my case, not do something. I spent a lot of time more concerned with everybody else's needs and that they needed to be taken care of. The one thing that I forgot is that I had to be there to take care of them, right? And it's easy to lose sight of that. You're so busy, caught up in the day to day, what everybody needs, what you think everybody needs, where everything is supposed to go, proper place, whatever you want to call it. But we get so busy, caught up in life, that we forget to make sure that we are here for life. Hey, Unique View, thank you for stopping in. Y'all, I'm kind of anxious, not anxious, not kind of, a lot of. I'll tell you one thing on a side note, imposter syndrome is serious. I've been trying to get myself the courage to do this for like at least 2 years. Hey, blind guy, his wife, their life, or in this case, I'm sure it's probably Quita. Thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate every time y'all shout me out. It makes me feel like $1,000,000 because my little words to me really are just mine. I don't think that I'm going to affect anybody's life. I just feel like if I tell my story, I know someone will know my story, right? God, here I am. I swore to myself that I wasn't going to be one of those women who would get onto their stream and cry all the damn time. Y'all, I got like 17 thumbnails, maybe. Three of them have my face on it. How come I'm crying into? It's just a pitiful thing. But anyway, um, where was I? Oh, so, um, when you think about, because this happened, I see, it was probably like July 18th, and it was the first time I ever went on a stream, and it was a live stream from the lead attorney, and he was talking about weight and what men deserve, and I remember being in the chat at first and just listening to what he had to say. Um, and the way that he was talking, because he spoke a lot about gastric bypass surgery, and that's how I murdered my fat chick, so that we're clear. In April of 2007, I had gastric bypass surgery. Here it is, 15 years later, and I have managed to continue to keep that weight off. It is a constant struggle. It is my reality. And sitting in that chat, that stream that night, the way the lead attorney is great, by the way. Do not take any of this as me being offended. It's just what I heard, understood, and being on this side of the coin felt like. Um, he he spoke about having the surgery with contempt to a degree, my perspective. Almost sometimes like disgust. And then they went on to describe something that I haven't gone through, which is having the surgery to get the excess skin removed. I was blessed not to have to go through that procedure. I've only ever had the one procedure done, and don't have a lot of excess skin. Where you to look at my body, I look like the almost 46-year-old mother of three that I am. But in that stream and then listening to the chat, all of those people, ugh, how could she do that? Don't nobody want to see this. I think that people forget sometimes the discipline that it takes. Like, to go, you may have gotten to 330 pounds by not doing nothing. And having the surgery may seem easy to you. I'll explain to you why it's not in a moment. But to be able to live after that, 15 years, 20 years, that's a special type of discipline. I love you too, Corey. I am so sorry that I did not make sure to say something to you. I will do better, I promise. Um, but it takes a certain kind of discipline to tell yourself after you've had a surgery where they promised you that you're going to lose 100 pounds to get your ass up and go to the goddamn gym. Okay? It takes a certain level of discipline when you know that you could basically just not eat for 2 days and some weight will fall off to make sure you put healthy things in your body every day. Commitment, sacrifice, understanding. And I didn't hear any of that in that stream. And that was what it was that bothered me. Like, I can see you only being able to hear my past and maybe, dealing with it from that perspective. Okay, you don't know my whole story, and you certainly haven't been there. So I fully understand that, and I get it. But I think to me, the question becomes, when do you see more? When can you say, okay, maybe you made that mistake and you've got to move forward in your journey? How are you still? Corey, still listening and ask if you're fibromyalgia. Yes. So fibromyalgia is actually considered something to already be inside of you or in your body, right? But there are two things that have to happen in order for you to have to for it to be triggered, and that is you have to have some type of mental health trauma and some type of physical trauma with close together. And so fibromyalgia was in my family. Corey, my aunt has it, but it did not. I wasn't diagnosed until 2017. I was triggered in 2014 and realized something was wrong in 2015. Um, It's a separate stream, but I'll tell you really quickly. My boyfriend was murdered in 2014, and within 6 months of that, I injured my back and couldn't work, but continued to go to work after his death and after the injury because I didn't know what else to do with myself. And it took about another um, 2 or 3 months before I had my first fibromyalgia flare. So yeah, it's with hey, my vivid life, trash can waste. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I really didn't mind sitting here talking to myself, but I love that y'all came through. Y'all, like I said before, imposter syndrome is a real thing. I've been trying to do this since 2017 when I first ended up being disabled and knowing that I wasn't going to be able to meet all my life's goals and dreams. So let me explain. The reason that I had gastric bypass surgery in 2007 is because the doctor said, hey, do you want to live to see your children graduate from high school? And if you've heard me talking at all in any of these chats or streams, the most important thing to me is my children. The most important thing to me is black children, right? So that hit me right in my doggone face. And in that moment, I was like, okay, what you gonna do, girl? So I decided to have gastric bypass surgery. I decided to get myself together and become the black woman that I wanted my sons to look for in a wife. So I lost weight. I went to school. I opened a daycare after a while, and I became a chef in my own right. But all of those things were just for my one purpose and goal, and it will always be that. My one purpose in this world is young black people. Full stop. There's no moment in my life that it's never been that. When y'all look back at that video that I did in June of last year talking about my cousin Demario, he left behind a 1 day old baby, y'all. One. 1 day. Do you hear me? Demario had a birthday on 1 day, his son the next day, and all I can tell you for certain is that he was gone from at least 8 shots to the back by the Memphis Police Department. So I'm here because y'all, I done been through more than any woman should. I've seen too many things. I've supported my people in so many ways. And all I want now is for us to talk to each other and be willing to do that for each other, to share and give and to try to put something back into our younger sooner so that they don't have to go through the same traumas that we did. My Vivid Life is on every day or as often as she can, streaming about the things that she's trying to do and the things that she's been through. It makes a difference because there's somebody out there who needs a somebody to talk to speak for them. They're not ready yet. Trash can waves. I'm ready to dip and spin anytime you are. You want to jump up here on one of these live streams one day. I'll be here for a while, but I love you, bruh. You are my internet cousin because I promise you can get me giggling when I really don't want to be here. And in case y'all didn't know, as Corey mentioned, the fibromyalgia every day. Every time y'all see me, I hurt, right? There's not a moment in my life that doesn't come with pain. But it's my job to try to make sure that it comes with some joy. I try to smile. I try to get out here and talk to y'all. My community here is small, but it's mine. We're all positive. We're all trying to move forward. We made it through this pandemic and we're all still whole. Y'all, wait till I tell you the story of me and two 20 something young men living in a studio apartment during the pandemic. You want to talk about a game changer. But anyway, that's way further down the line. Thank you so much, my vivid life. I try really hard to be the things that I put out there. And it's a struggle. It was a struggle when I decided to have gastric bypass surgery in 2007 because it meant I had to change so many things about myself and my family. It hugely affected my marriage. And there are people, especially in the red pill community, will be like, you really did. You made a choice for yourself over your husband because he didn't want me to have the surgery. He's a chubby chaser. He liked them big girls, you know. And I used to tell myself that I was proud to be a big girl. I was okay with the skin I was in, or whatever it was, whatever lie I had to tell myself. But I was miserable. I couldn't chase my kids. I couldn't have fun with them. I was tired all the time. And then I decided I had to do something different. And even though gastric bypass surgery is how the weight loss process started, or was the bigger thing in the weight loss process, it's not the entire journey. And certainly in the 15 years afterwards, it's really the small blip on the radar, except that I can only eat about 8 ounces at a time. And I haven't had an entire soda since 2006. Um, it's like I would tell anybody to do it. Like if you're trying to decide whether or not to save your life, um, or keep up this ruse about being fat, black, and content, or whatever you want to call it, living your best life. You don't want nobody body shaming you. You're ashamed of your own body. That's why you put the words that way. Just so we're clear. But whenever you decide that you're gonna change your life, it is an everyday commitment. So it's also an everyday commitment for me to be compassionate and positive. When you live with chronic pain or chronic illness, you can often get down on yourself because of the things that you can't do. And so if you can't find compassion for yourself or others, it's very difficult to make it through a life of disability without being bitter. And Lord knows, no one needs any other reasons to be bitter, right? We got enough. So I just try to remind people that positivity is it's easier. I mean, it takes some work and discipline in the beginning because a lot of us have never done it before. Hell, there was a point when I could have went down that road, 3 kids, a husband that I da 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 da, 330 pounds. Da, 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 da. I could have turned out bitter and angry. I could carry all of that baggage with me everywhere I go. And then I would spill all of that into somebody else's life. And that's just gross. That alone is selfish. And so I just try to live my life and my thoughts, the things that I put out into the world, in that way. How can I give back? How can I say terrible things in a loving way, and get a message out there, something that we can all do better with, right? Um, Hopefully, one day somebody will see my thumbnail because I've been dreaming about that little thing since 2009, right? At first, it was a book, and then it was going to be a blog. I actually still have the writings from that blog up there. But then, funny enough, for some reason, it didn't happen. But How I Murdered a Fat Chick's always been in my brain, and here I am sitting in front of y'all with that thumbnail. Isn't she cute though, you guys? Wait, where is it? I'm going to show it to you if you don't remember on Canva. Just cuz I think this, and the thing about it is this, it tells my story um outright, right? Cuz I did. It's when you go through gastric bypass surgery or some serious weight loss, one of the things you got to know is it's going to change your whole life. Not just um one part or whatever. It's going to change everything for you. Um, and the only way that you can really do that is if you kill the thing inside you that allowed you to get to 330 pounds. And so when I put up here How I Murdered a Fat Chick, and I use this little thumbnail with the skinny chick chasing the fatty. The reason is I had to kill off all of the fat girl's energy inside of me, right? All of it. Isn't it adorable? Look at that thing. Anyway, um, I look, skinny little me chasing little fat me. You have to kill the spirit inside, and that's entirely different from the weight that you lose outside. And that's the thing that I was saying earlier that I think that the lead attorney stream might have missed, right? Is that it's not just about that one day on the surgery or the few weeks afterwards. It's about the commitment to the entire journey and how long that takes. And here I am. It'll be 15 years in April since I murdered my fat chick. And I killed her inside and out, right? You guys, you've seen 330-pound women. The majority of them do not walk around with a smile on their face as if they're happy to see the next day, right? It's just the truth of the matter. And if we can see that and understand it, and if I can help you understand where it comes from, maybe we can all go out there and give somebody a little bit of grace and a little bit of room, right? And because that's my main goal, is to give people the space and opportunity to be the adults that they want to be the great things that they can be. Hey, Scorpion, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you dropping off your theme song so often. You make me feel like I'm saying something right, and that means a lot to me. Um, but the way we move, like I said all the time, you have to lead by example. And me being in this stream right now, me having the weight loss surgery, me telling my sons what I've gone through and what I've experienced, um, all of those things are a constant conscious effort. And that's what I want, to give everybody the space to figure out the best about who they are, and to be able to give out that constant energy, and share it. And it becomes muscle memory. I don't have to work hard, excuse me, to be positive anymore. I mean, on the very, very terrible, painful days, I do, of course. But, more often than not, it's like anything else. If you make something a habit and you do it frequently, then, it's muscle memory. You can get up every day and pray. You can get up every day and do any of these things. Thank you, blind guy, his wife, their life. I think it makes sense to choose, and it wasn't even choosing myself in this situation over him or his desires. I thought I was putting myself in the best situation to be there and be his wife, as long as that was right. If I'm losing weight, and if I'm giving you better meals and nutrition and raising our sons to have a better quality of life, and why wouldn't you want that? Right? Why isn't that the thing that I should be doing? But unfortunately, it didn't work out, y'all. And we separated. It didn't until years later. It wasn't until 2011. And yes, I did walk away. And yes, that's a subject for another stream. Thank you very much. Um, thank you. I'm trying real hard. Anybody know? I got knocked offline. See, this is the thing about living, well, I guess it's anywhere, right? And using Wi-Fi. But one of the things about I've noticed here in Arizona, if it gets really, really hot, if we get into the triple digits, my internet drops out a lot of times. And conversely, when we have storms like we had last night and this morning, the signal gets really tricky. I know the lead attorney says that he's on an Ethernet, so on landline. So I may have to decide to stop to do that, um, because it'll be a long time before I ever get to 40 some thousand followers and need to be able to keep up at the pace that he does anyway. But I think, again, you guys are amazing. The community that he's created is amazing. This little struggle stream family, I love y'all. Y'all show up every day. Just, it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's all I want for the greater black community, is for us to start showing up for each other. The one thing that I didn't have going through any of the things that I'm going to tell you, um, is someone who was by my side, who could just say, I know it's hard for you to get up and go to the gym this morning. So I'm going to get up 30 minutes before you. I'm going to make sure you got your bottle of water. I'm going to help you get up out the bed. And I'm going to go to the gym with you. You know, I just We don't do that. Mothers don't do that for their children anymore, right? We won't go out of our way for anybody. And that's unfortunate. And not, anyway, I didn't have that. And so one of my goals in being out here and putting out this stream is being that for somebody else, at least in video. If I can't be there for you in person, baby, take my words. Play them over and over again if you have to. Listen to me tell you that I was a miserable fat woman. I lied every day. The same way that you cannot see that my pain is all the way to the tips of my locks right now. You could not see that I was a miserable fat girl. Oh, I would tell you all the time I was fine with the skin that I love the skin I'm in. Fat and fabulous, blah, 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 blah. None of it was true. I was trying to talk me and you into the idea that I was okay with not being able to breathe, with diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, that I was okay with giving those things to my children by passing it down through my lineage. What? That doesn't make any sense. If you are someone who believes in the black future and young black children, how can you sit in front of them and slowly eat your life away? What are you teaching them? What are you offering them? Right? Maybe having three children before I was 30 had something to do with me gaining 330 pounds. But seriously, you can't blame them for what you put in your face after you popped them out. Come on, let's just talk about it. You know, did I get to 330 pounds because I lost my mother early? Yeah, it's possible. We eat our feelings, right? And depression is one of those things that you're in well before you realize that you're in it. Because you spend so much time just trying to get through and get it done. I was, y'all, I had to be depressed for the first 7 or 8 years of my marriage. Want to know what's crazy? That's when all my kids were born. You know what's even crazier? I think we had less sex then than we did right before we divorced, or right before we separated anyway. Crazy, right? You know, when I was the fat chick that I thought that he wanted me to be, um, I was miserable. Our family was miserable. And the problem is, I sold the lie so well. And black women, we do that a lot. Women in general, but black women, black folks, we'll sell the hell out of a lie so y'all can't see our truth, right? Like, this curtain is selling you some kind of lie. You don't know what's behind it. I mean, I'll tell you, not a damn thing. Right? There's nothing around here. I pretty much am a minimalist. Outside of tech that I need to be able to do what I gotta do, or the tech that I need in order to keep some music in my ear in my life, I'm a minimalist. Because I spent I was in a family of six, and then I had a family of five. And because we were military in 4 years, I mean, I carried around everything, all of the children's picture, artwork, everybody's information, so on and so forth. I did all of those things, right? And so once my children graduated from high school, and I was able to pursue just what I wanted to do in life, which was the end of 2019 school year. Nope, I lie. I'm lying to y'all. Y'all know my baby just graduated last year? Okay, y'all, so my baby just graduated last year and then went into the Army, and he's an AIT right now. So technically, I'm just now getting to the point that I had dreamed about when I was 16 and I set my life goals out. And that was to be a young mother so that I could have the energy and relate to my children when they were still young. So because I had a best friend when I was in high school, and her parents were damn near 70, and my parents were 30 something, right? um, and the difference. Her parents were encouraging her to be a mortician. My parents were encouraging me to go out and live my dreams and figure out who it was that I wanted to be. And being a 16-year-old girl in that moment, I was like, there is no way in hell I'm putting that on my kids. So I decided to have my children early. And then once they were school attending age, I went to college, and I got first. I started to work on my early childhood education associates, and then decided to open a daycare. I did that for about 4 years, and then after that, we had to move from Georgia to North Carolina, and I here, and I was like, you know what? I can still live my dreams. The boys are in school during the day. I can be in school during the day, and then I found out about culinary school. Went to culinary school, and the rest of it is fast forward. We'll talk about it later on, right? But again, if you keep listening to my story, it's just about going back and doing the things for my sons, right? What did I say? I lead by example. I wanted to be the example of the black woman that my son should be looking for. I wanted to be the example of discipline, determination, and commitment to something that my sons needed to see. I do my best with them and with other people not to put down their other parent. And so I'm going to do my best not to do that here. But what I will say is, you may be, some people join the military because they need that discipline and structure. However, they do not always learn to take that discipline and structure and apply it across their entire life. It's just the idea that the military tells you you have to be at PT at 6:30, that they'll get up at 5:30 and go. Not that it's because they think it's necessary or it's somehow furthering or bettering their life. And I needed my fellas to see that it is necessary for you to have discipline and structure in all the things that you do. I know, right, Scorpion? I was so shocked to see all of those comments yesterday. Like, wow, just amazing. But you know, it's Freaky Friday, and I said some really ridiculous things in a couple of streams. So maybe that was it. One thing y'all will find out about me is I'm ridiculous, medicated or not. And by the way, you will see me with my medicator from time to time. I don't do it on other people's streams because I'm not going to demonetize anybody else. I won't be monetized for who knows how long. So over here, we're going to be 420 friendly whenever we don't think the little people are present. So y'all have to monitor that side. I'll try to maintain my mouth. Y'all make sure that they're not watching me smoke. I think that's a fair deal. I agree with you, Unique View, and I believe when someone is sitting with you at the house every day and they're selling you the lie, because there's some form of when you're putting on a show for everybody else, you got to do it for yourself to make it stick, right? And so there's some form of putting on that show for the person that you're with. And he knew it wasn't real. You could feel the disconnect between the two of us. If we sleep in the same bed and we don't touch each other, like in some way, if I don't try to put my hand on you or you don't try to lean in close to me, ladies, you scoot your butt back, hoping that, he'll scoot forward a little bit, that kind of thing. We ain't do none of that. We ain't do none of that. You had to know something was wrong. I sold the lie too well. And I don't fault him, I fault me. Because I guess I didn't have the proper communication skills, you know? And also, um, I expected something from him that he had never been given the tools to be. Without going into all of the detail, because again, it's not my story to tell. Um, he grew up in a single mother household. Father was there from a distance. But no, I grew up with my mother and father in my home. My mother and father were married until the day that my mother passed away, 21 years, right? And so that was what I expected my children's father to be, without realizing that my children's father didn't have a toolbox with those types of tools in it. And so it doesn't matter whether or not I have the tools to be a mother or whether or not I was taught to be a wife. Um, if the other person doesn't have their tools, same thing happens, right? And so I think that that's where we are, and so I have to deal with that. Corey, you're a self-proclaimed chef. That's interesting. What I want to know is what your best dish is, right? And I'm gonna need you to at least come up with something that's got some fake meat in it. Because as a chef, one of the things that took me a long time to get cool with were all of these dietary restrictions. When it came to dating, if you had dietary restrictions, I just didn't. And also, by the way, if you're ever considering dating a chef, don't be trying to go out to eat with us. All right. One of the things that drives us absolutely insane is well, I can't say us. Let me say me. I dated a guy at one point, and he used to always want to go out to eat, but he chewed with his mouth wide the hell open. Let me drop this down so y'all can see and move the banner. Um, Chewing and talking. And chewing and talking. And the one thing that I realized in this scenario is that if we were to date on a regular basis, you would want me to cook for you. And that means I have to watch you eat and hear you eat. There ain't no way in hell. Do you hear me? None. And by the way, having had gastric bypass surgery, I can't eat a lot of food. Like I said, 8 ounces at a time. You know what I can't do? Is sit there and watch you eat while I can't eat. And then have to hear that annoying noise and see the food falling out your mouth. No, sir. Nope. No, sir. No, sir. When it comes to inspiring or food info, I can tell you, Corey, right now I use my culinary skills and my culinary education to help my neighbor. She had some health issues earlier this summer in the spring, had to go into the hospital, and then when she came out, she decided that she needed to make some life changes and lose weight. So I use what I know about food, proper portion size, how to eat things in a way that you'll be full longer, and I give her those tips and tricks so that she could have a better quality of life. And what I can tell you is that she started this process in May, and here it is July, and she's down 60, 70 pounds. I'd say maybe 25% of that is my information. The other 75 is all her will and determination. No, I'll say 30%. And I only say 30 because I give myself 5% for getting up and going just to be there. Again, I didn't know her. I just got up and I saw a young woman in need, and it was a space that I could feel, and I did. Listen, Scorpion, I don't know about trying to try I'm sorry, vegetarian sausage and gravy, but try on down to Arizona. I got some biscuits and gravy that will change your life. Whatever y'all do when it comes to cooking things and you're gonna make like sauces and whatever, if you're browning something in the bottom of that pan, keep that stuff. All that brown goodness down there, keep that. Add a little water to it. You got a sauce, add some cream to it. You got a different kind of sauce. That's where all the flavor is. That's where so many home cooks lose out because y'all don't know the basic tips and tricks. Also, things like Corey, make sure that if you're gonna be simmering some type of food for a long time, brown it first. You don't do a whole lot of meat, so or you don't do meat, so it's kind of a moot thing for you. But also, it means the same thing when you're talking about becoming vegetarian. You want to roast as many things as you can, because that brown caramelization gives you a little bit of sweetness without having to add anything to it. You still get to keep some of the texture in your food, and all of those things are important. Uh, Boy, Corey, blind guys fight their life. If you haven't said a more true statement when you say we gobble the lies and pick the truth apart. Look at what's happening to Kwame Brown. Look what happened to the lead attorney last night with Marsha. I mean, seriously? Sometimes we get in our feelings even when we know it's unwarranted. How you gonna sit in somebody's live stream back room for 3 hours huffing and puffing and mad and then get up there and then still be huffing and puffing mad? Take your opportunity to share a doggone message. Spread some love. Why do our people spread so much damn anger and hate all the time? For what? What does it get you? Carrying around all of that animosity. Didn't it eat you inside? I'll tell y'all something. You may think that I am over the top. You might think I'm goofy. Whatever it is. Over the course of time, if y'all really continue to hang out with me, you'll find out that this weed smoking thing really is medicating and I'm just goofy. I am really just different, honey. Last year, I'm 45, I said, right? Last year, my doctor decided to tell me, oh, by the way, you're autistic. Oh, yeah? I'm just a 45-year-old black woman who's different, is what I am. You know, stop with the labels, right? But we take apart every truth. I said, one of the things that I've noticed is because I am genuinely out there trying to give of myself, people don't believe me, right? People, not until I've shown up like 15 times saying, I'm going to be here, do they, it's like one day this shield just comes off their eyes and they're like, oh, oh, you're a real, I can trust a human being. You know what? Why can't we lead with trust? Why is that so hard? Why do our people lead with distrust, right? We're always looking for the thing that you're going to do to do us wrong or to harm us or whatever it is. I decided a long time ago, you're going to do whatever you're going to do. All I can do is control my behavior. So I'm not going to spend my time trying to figure out whether or not you're going to hurt me. When it's going to come. If it should happen, I chalk it up to you being human and we part ways. If it doesn't happen, I chalk it up to you being an extraordinary human and we spend more time together. Why is that hard to do? I really want to know. A blind guy, his wife, their last. I want to know what was the one thing that what made you say, you know what, I can stick with this vegetarian life. I'm trying to decide now to whether to become a vegetarian or a vegan, or what I actually prefer to do is eat meat flavored vegetables. Um, uh, food. Listen, a, a tip for everybody here: if you're even considering losing weight, one of the first things they tell you to do um, is chew every bite. I think it's 36 times. You'll slow down on eating quite so much. Your jaws get tired. Like you don't even have to 36 times. Anybody? I would count it out. I would do it in real time. What the hell? It's four of y'all in here, and nobody really. Let's count 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We got to 20 in about 10 seconds. We got almost 16 more to go, bruh. And do that for how many bites? And think of it. Some of y'all are eating the monster sized manly meals, right? Oh my, your jaws would be so tired. So start there. See if you can manage that. Another tip, if you just really are trying but don't know where to start, get some small plates like the kids eat on at daycare and put your food on that size plate and only eat that size plate. And then I did that before I went to murder my fat chick. That was the process that I started, chewing my food 36 times, eating on a smaller plate. And then once I started eating from a smaller plate, I would leave two bites on my plate. See, that's not fair, Scorpion. You could have eaten the oranges, but please don't eat that nasty curly parsley. It has absolutely nothing in it for you, I promise. Also, the mint on the dessert, you can eat it if you want to, but I promise you it will hurt your feelings. Um, when I think about all of the decisions in my life, all the choices that I've made, just for me. Um, I remember that, and I look back at my life, right? It's not, it's, this thing is introspection, and that's how I murdered my fat chick. And I should probably get back to that, huh? Um, so what it truly took was introspection, me looking at myself, my life. How did I get to 330 pounds? Right? So, what did I talk about? I got to 330 pounds. My mother, oh, so I got married at 19. I had my first baby in March of 1996. My mother passed away in April of 1996. Uh, 7 years of depression is how I got to 330 pounds. And sitting there, listening to that doctor in that office, I realized that it was up to me and nobody else. And I had to kill the fat chick inside of me in order to sit here in front of y'all 15 years later. And it is not easy. Y'all, imagine being fat for the majority of your life. I was 31 when I had gastric bypass surgery. I was fat since 16. And really, if I listened to the words of other people, I thought that I was fat when I was 11 because I always heard, "Oh, you big. Oh, you getting so big. Oh my God, you so." It was never you're tall. It was never, you know, your, you know, your genes. Nothing. The way that we say things to kids matter. They hear them differently than we express them. And I took that and I ate that feeling. At 16, I ate those feelings. At 20, God knows I ate those feelings. Right? I had a brand new baby. I lost my mother. My husband was in the military and had had been on a deployment and then come home and he was always at the work or in the field or whatever. I ate my feelings. So that's another thing that I did before I had the surgery. I had to find something else to do with my feelings, right? Before I could do now. Before, like, we're always given coping mechanisms instead of healing skills. And so my coping mechanism in to replace eating all the time, eating my feelings, was to clean my feelings away. And I have to admit that even to this day, your girl's got a little bit of OCD when it comes to cleaning. Like, the reason that I was a culinarian, Corey, and so good at it is because I am a stickler for cleanliness in any kitchen that I am going to be in. Any kitchen that I worked in, if I went to one, a matter of fact, at Mid Atlantic Christian College, when I was out there as the food service director, I think I took them from a 95, 96 to 100 on their sanitation rating. I don't play. Bruh, that lip that's under on the underside of tables, we clean around there. I had you scrubbing the wheels on the speed racks, right? Anywhere that you could have some food debris, some grossness, anything that would invite the little cousins to come into my dining facility. Nope, we're not going to do that. In my home, we the same way you have to fight for a refrigerator in a restaurant, we do that in my house. Why? Because it also taught them discipline and structure, right? You know where the food goes in the refrigerator. So you know that the refrigerator is supposed to have fruits and vegetables in it along with meat, right? Everything that we do has to be deliberate. What I see out in the world, though, is that our children are not even given that understanding. Discipline, deliberate movement, effort. Yes, ma'am, my vivid life. You gotta know it. Like, something about that's the reason why I started my stream on a Saturday morning. Okay, like I said in that video, I figure every black mother is up on Saturday morning cleaning her house. And she's who I want to talk to. And future black mamas and fathers. Who should be up cleaning their house on Saturday morning? Before y'all head down to the car wash, turn the music up loud and get yourself clean for Saturday night, right? Or was that just how I went about it? Because for me, Saturday morning was basically get up, clean up, shower, go to the car wash, shower the car, go home, shower, go to the barbecue at the park, kick it, go back to the house, do what? Shower, and then go to the club. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sis had a nonstop life. Like it's just a thing. It's, but cleanliness. You heard in there how many times I shower. That's another thing. When you're fat, do you hear me? Let's talk about it. When you're fat, you are so worried about how you smell on a regular basis. When you're 330 pounds, or if you're like that TV show, My 600 Pound Life, you worried about missing some spots. And we got to be real and talk about it. To this day, I take a minimum of 2 showers a day because I'm worried about it. And it's just something that stuck in me from then. Um, to this day, I'm always, anytime there's a scent, I check myself first, right? Because you've already got so many things against you when you are fat. People look at you and they've already judged you. You can't be fat, angry, and smelly. Don't nobody want that? Nobody. Woman, man, right? So it's about how you keep yourself. Having the discipline to care about yourself all the time, anytime, right? I say that to you all as I look right into this camera in my face, which bothers me right here. Just as a side note, it took me 6 months, an extra 6 months, to go onto a live stream or sit down and do this video. And I am someone who is completely comfortable with the skin that I am in. And I mean that seriously. Y'all cannot have listened to me in all of these streams and chats and think I'm not comfortable in who I am or won't stand on my square. But one of the things that I can say is the message meant so much to me that I was afraid people wouldn't hear it because our people are so judgmental, right? Before anybody can hear my message, they're going to judge me on sight. That's the truth of blackness. It's the truth of fatness, the truth of womanhood. I can give you that, right? There are certain things people are going to know about me on sight. And as a result, they're going to make a judgment. Right now, people are looking at this, and if they're not paying attention or don't realize what's been said here, they're just thinking, oh, here goes some of the skinny bitch talking about fat people. No, I've been there, right? But we have to pay attention. But just the idea that our people are so judgmental. When I told Scorpion that I wasn't sure that anybody would even hear my little messages or post theme songs, I meant that, right? I really considered keeping this banner right here just because I know that people may not see it and they'll judge me. Maybe they'll hear my message. And that's what I want, honey. I'm not worried about how you think of me, how you see me. I don't care. How you see my message. Can you eat the message? Because that's what I need for you to do, right? Why am I a chef? Because food is love. That's why I went to culinary school. I knew how to cook. I went to culinary school so I could learn how to manage a restaurant. Because my dream was to own a restaurant with my sons. But just because it was my dream doesn't mean it was their dream, right? Even when they over the years expressed wanted to be culinarians because I was one. I had to really understand that that's not a guarantee, right? Sometimes, kids are kids. Their interests toggle back and forth just like ours do. So, I couldn't force my dream on them. And then my fibromyalgia knocked me all the way out of that category. I could go back and be a culinarian, but it would be really difficult. Um, what happens with fibromyalgia and a lot of autoimmune illnesses is that your pain sensor is on all the time. You cannot. What? Uh, yeah. So basically, my internal thermostat is broken, and my pain sensor is always on. Everything that happens to me, my body um, attacks it. Right? It's attacking my joints. My joints think that they're not supposed to be together. They think they're enemies on either side of my. I keep touching myself, and y'all can't even see me. So it's on either side. It thinks that the enemy is there, and so there's a little war going on in the middle of my joint, and that hurts. And when you add the humidity and the rise in pressure, it's excruciating. But I'm sorry, I got off track. It happens. I should put my notes up there, but I'm just happy to see someone in here that I can talk to. So the cleanliness is crucial. And but Court, how did you feel about the relationships in the kitchen? Because one of the things that I truly appreciated about being a culinarian is being that when you spend like 12 to 14, 12 to 16 hours with these people, they become your extended family, right? Sometimes they seem like your nuclear family. And that's one of the things that I wanted to say about this struggle stream family, about blind guy, his wife, their life, Scorpion, trash can waves, cuz we dipping, I promise you. As soon as I can afford to do anything again in life, you and me gonna get together, we gonna ride around with the top down, and we gonna blow a tree and talk about whatever comes up. But you guys, I grew up military. I married military. I've never known how to sit down in my life. So I always had to build a family on the fly, right? Like I had my children and my husband, that's my nuclear family. My extended family, my father, my sisters, they were all in their own places. And we just weren't really that kind of close. We love each other. We'll be there for each other in a heartbeat. I can, in some regards. And then some things they can't support. And that's okay too. That's when the family that you create matters. There's a family you're born into, or as the youngins like to say, your family of origin. And then there's a family that you create. And the struggle stream, y'all are the family that I've created, or at least for me, the family that I've grown into, right? When I told my family of origin that I was going live today, I just asked, I was like, can you just, can you help me out with this one thing, something, an app that I wanted to get? And can you show up? I have two sisters, my dad and my aunt. That would cover the four people who are watching this stream right now, except Scorpion, My Vivid Life, Blind Guy, His Wife, Their Life, Trash Can Waves, Unique View. None of you are from my family of origin. But you showed up here and you're sitting with me at the 58-minute mark as part of my created family. And that family, yeah, I want to build that up. I want to build that up and I want to share it with the world. And I want to show everybody that this is how black people can move, right? We aren't all crabs in a barrel trying to push each other down, pull each other down. I will let you stand on my back. Shit, you can stand on my damn forehead if you need to get ahead. Especially if you're younger than me. If you've got more future to live than I do, you can stand on my neck. Stand on my shoulders. I don't care. I'm gonna put you out there. I love that Mrs. B finesse. They're adorable. I don't know if she's actually married to the military now, but apparently her father or someone in her family had to have been in the military because she's been to Germany. She speaks about it. But just the idea, she's young, she's out there, she's got a full family, and yet she's still trying to give back in the way that she can. Why wouldn't we try to support that? Why wouldn't we try to make sure she gets more views? Look at Rush Ribbons. Fierce and adorable. I think she's great. I think she might be too much for my fellas, but I think that she's great. You know, she's so smart. Why wouldn't we put her on blast? I love teasing the lead attorney about, having his nose a little wide open too, but that's because we are a struggle stream family and we can pick on each other. And y'all show up and leave a theme song and y'all tell somebody. Eh, That's it. And really and truly, I can say it now. And if I ever happens that I have 1,000 followers or 10, right? I expected to get on here and it take me 9 months to get two people to show up to a stream. And here it is. Y'all showed up to my very first one. What we put out there is what we get back, right? So I do my best to put out there positivity and an abundance of it. Because I need an abundance of positivity to live a life with fibromyalgia. That whole body smells thing, yeah. What I didn't realize, and being plant based, I don't know, it also comes down to taste. Is that a bad thing to say? Like what you eat comes out through your pores and it comes out through the fluids that you let go of. And some of y'all taste a little minerally, irony. Like you need to add some honey, pineapple juice, something to your diet. And but I can tell you, like I pretty much don't do sodas, and I don't the worst thing that I do for myself really is coffee. I don't sweat a lot, and when I do sweat, it's not very salty. It's that weird thing, blind guy, his wife, their life, that I noticed after changing up a lot of my eating habits, that certain things changed as well in that regard. I won't say that it's Saturday morning and we're gonna be family friendly. Just remember, all fluids can taste different. um, Yeah, the reason why we're so warm and supportive in the kitchen industry is because a lot of us are the ones who have always been at the bottom of society in some way, right? Culinarians, people who work, especially in the back of the house, we tend to have some hard histories, right? Like actually, up until I went to culinary school, my history wasn't that kind of colorful. But the culinary industry, the hospitality industry, we take all types. And usually, if you've been deemed a weirdo, a freak, a black sheep, you also then will turn around and see that in other people and give them that grace, that space, you know. Um, Weirdos, we don't really. I can't say I wouldn't say that we seek out other weirdos, but when we come across someone weird, we're like, "Yep, you're probably a good person too." Because if you've seen this different in this society, you know that you get beat up on, right? We know it. We know that if you're fat, someone's judging you. If you're black, somebody's judging you. If you're a woman, someone has an opinion about you. We know that already. So knowing that you've already got this opinion just on sight, how do we counter that? How do we do something different? How do we be better? How do we lead by example, right? In order for me to be the black woman that I wanted my sons to be able to marry. I had to lead by example. How do you lead by example? You get up, you do the work, you have the grace and compassion for yourself and the people around you. You see the weirdos and you offer them a smile and a conversation. Let me tell y'all something. If you ever want to be humbled very quickly, um, actually just sit and spend some time talking to someone who is homeless, unhoused, whatever colloquialism y'all want to use, right? Talk to them. Because when you say, "What can I do for you?" many will tell you just listen. They just want somebody to talk to. You know why? Because most of us will pull up to wherever it is that they're at, and we see them, we'll roll up our windows, act as if the music's going too loud, we banging at the last da 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 da. We have no time for this person who obviously is down on their luck or having a hard time in life right now. We can't even give them the common courtesy of a look, right? We're so embarrassed or ashamed of them, for them, by them. I'm not sure which one of those things it is, but for whatever reason, we won't give them any grace. But we expect grace. We hope for grace. We want someone to treat us the way that they want to be treated, right? I'm absolutely surprised that we have made it this far. Blind guy, his wife, their life. I really thought that I'd be out of here in 15 minutes. One, because there would be no one here. Two, because I'd just be rambling about absolutely nothing. And three, because even if I did get the other two things right, y'all really wouldn't give a damn about what I had to say. But y'all are here. And I've been talking for an hour. And I had questions to answer. I am amazed and appreciate y'all so much. Before I forget, because y'all know I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, share, subscribe, whatever that stuff is that you're supposed to do. I need y'all to do that for the girl, so someone else can get out there and I can tell my story, and they can tell theirs after they hear mine, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this too, y'all. Like I said, it circles back to the same foundation for me being the better parent, right? Being the best example that I could be for my children, right? And in order to be the best example that I could be for my boys, I had to do so many things, right? I had to have a foundation, something that was permanent, that meant more to me than the emotions that would I be going through at any time. You know, last night I was talking to someone in the stream about not standing on emotions when it comes to finding a relationship, right? Because emotions come and go. You love me today, tomorrow you're gonna be out of love with me. I might say a word that you don't like, and then you're gonna decide you don't want to talk to me for 6 weeks. But if you stand on something else, right? A set of values, that part, And so I tried to put that back into my kids, right? And I try to make sure that I'm out here telling my story. And the reason that I'm out here telling my story, again, back to the same thing, is because, like I said, my mother passed away when I was 20. Um, and that meant that I spent a lot of my time not knowing um, her story. And that did something to me. Because there are these people who know my mother's story, and so they would um, attempt to try to tell her story from their perspective, right? But you don't know why my mama made the decisions that she made. You know, you can't tell me, the pressures that she was truly under in that moment, and I'm never going to have a chance to ask her. Third coast baby, no worries. I tell them all the time. I told my sons a long time ago that seed right there that she got in you, that's brilliance, right? My genes, that's brilliance. You will not take that brilliance and put it into something unworthy. You had better find you another brilliant being and y'all come together. But royalty, it's not, I mean, a third coast royalty. It's not just about protecting your seed. When you talk about it, you're protecting your entire lineage. Why did I have gastric bypass surgery? So that I could get rid of the diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. Why? They're the three major killers of black folks, right? And so if and I can get rid of my diabetes and high blood pressure, and I can learn how to eat better and portion out my food and all of those things, I can teach it to my sons. And then my sons can eat better. And then there will not be any diabetes, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol in their in their set of our for them, right? My descendants won't have diabetes and high blood pressure, and because I taught them right, their children won't either because they know these things. And that's the thing. That's why I did it. Like I said, the doctor said to me, "Do you want to live to see your children graduate from high school?" Yes, sir. But more importantly, I want my children to live to graduate from high school. We gave them a lot of things, their father and I, despite our relationship, right? We made our own sacrifices for our own reasons. He stayed in the military for 20 years so that we would have a roof over our heads, food, clothing, and shelter. Even when he and I didn't care for each other, we both cared for those children. I radically changed my life having a surgery that I could have died from. Almost did. But here I am 15 years later. They are three amazing young men, all because of decisions that I made, conscious ones. Like Third Coast Royalty said, protecting that seed. Some of you have watched that video from the George Floyd vigil I did. You heard me say I put my body in front of bullets. I was standing in front of bullets for those boys. And if I'm willing to do that, then I am willing to go and risk my life to change my life so that I could be better for them. So they could have work ethic and courage and see it. So that they could have a visual representation of what discipline is. And not discipline that the government has forced upon you, like school, like the military, like indoctrination. But discipline from inside of yourself to make a choice for a reason, right? We make choices because so and so said, you want to know why I went to college the first time? My mama and daddy said there are too many adults in this house. You can go to college and we'll help you, or you can get your ass a job and go back to the States on your own. I went to college. Think over me. Trash can waves, I know. Ah, let me tell you something. It's the will of God that I hadn't been able to stream these last 5 or 6 days because I've been watching Dr. Tiasan Johnson, his Onyx report, and these damn mamas. There is nothing. Listen, I work real hard not to go after my people. I really do. But if you want me to come for your neck, hurt a kid. And it seems that the deletion of children is on the rise in the black community at the hands of their own mothers or the women who are supposed to be nurturing them. And I need somebody to help me understand that. I don't know who, but somebody's got to help me understand. Help me understand things like this. How can trash can waves tell me that babies are born with diabetes? Do you know you have to be like a 20-pound baby? How? you letting these things happen? How did you get here? Tell me. How? How? So I can help you. I will. In a New York minute. I will get up out my sick bed and do whatever it is that you need me to do. Right now. But we can't let this keep going on. And if I got to get up and say whatever it is, do whatever it is, if you got to hate me, if you got to talk about my snaggletooth, if you got to do whatever it is, I'm going to sit in front of this goddamn computer. I'm going to say whatever I have to until we can get mothers and fathers to do better by black children. We dropped the ball somewhere. We have to do something better, some different. And that's what I'm here for. Exactly. Blind guy, his wife, their life. I was talking to my sister the other day. She's got a daughter, and she and her daughter are different, right? My younger sister was built like a brick shit house, and her daughter is 12. We ain't gonna talk about what she built like because she's 12, damn it. But she's a little fluffy. We'll put it that way. So they have different perspectives just on how my sister grew up. She didn't grow up with a fluffy mentality. And so, what words do you use? She's really good about it. She remembers to say, "Oh my goodness, you're getting so tall." Right? Instead of saying, "Oh my God, you're getting so big." The words matter. The actions matter. They're not just watching, they're listening. They're peeking. That's the other thing. It's not about you. The moment that you have kids, honey, it stops being about you. It's all about that future, those children, that growth. What are you going to do? Ugh, trash can waste. Don't talk about it. You listen. Listen, cuzzo. Now, if you're going to be over here on my stream making me feel bad and cry, I'm going to think it's a setup. Okay? But you're right. Mothers today don't think about. I don't know what happened. Accountability doesn't come into play until your baby is born and you see the effects of what you've done. I think that's it. Our people are experiential learners. And I think that that even includes to the detriment of themselves and the children around them. Right? What is it? What else could make you? There used to be mama's mama's baby, daddy's maybe. You know why they said that? It was because the moment that you find out you're pregnant, you become a mother. Or you should. You should start to think like a mother. We don't do that anymore. People aren't even being held accountable for it. I just, I don't get it. These mothers aren't simply being poorly advised. You're right. They don't know who's giving them. First of all, we can talk about the fact that whenever a woman has a baby, they get that doggone what to expect when you're expecting. How about what to expect when you're parenting? Right? Let's be real. Let's talk about the things you need to do when the baby's in utero on the other side. If you're 330 pounds and you're pregnant, that's different from being 135, right? Let's talk about those things. Start telling these women the things that they're doing to their children before they ever even get here. Before they even get here, some of our children are being set up for failure. And because it makes it seem like the parents had poor decision making skills, right? Because it seems like we would have to admit that somewhere along the way we messed up in our own journey. We don't want to tell our story. We don't want to make it easier or better for the next one, right? Isn't that the thing? In order for me to tell your story, I have to tell you what I went through. In order for me to tell you my story and give you the best chance,
The best chance. I had to tell you everything, my good and my bad, the decisions I made and how it went wrong. And that's the thing. We aren't willing to do that because we don't want anybody to see our weaknesses. Why? My weakness is my strength. Because anybody will tell you that I'm overly compassionate, I care too much, I feel too much. My compassion is my strength. I believe it's every black mother's strength. At Third Coast Royalty, I agree with you. A lot of people depend on the system, but that does not mean that they have to live with a system mindset. And that's the problem. We allow them to continue to live with a system mindset, never thinking that they need each other to care about themselves, their children, the things that are happening around them. It's the system mindset that every black YouTuber that's conscious is fighting because it takes more. It takes all of us. Trash can waste. I refuse to believe that anybody is putting Pepsi in their baby's bottle. Now, I put oatmeal in my baby's bottle because every now and then you just need a good night's sleep. And I wasn't going to give them Benadryl or rum like they used to do when I was a kid. So a little bit of oatmeal in there wasn't a bad thing. And no worries, cuzzo. You can make me frown and cry a little, cause you make me smile a lot. And boy, when you get rolling with them songs, my autism is ready to kick in, and we can do a little theme song dance and sit down and sweat it. Right, Scorpion. I think that Trash Can Waves just wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of a shocker in my comment section. Like I really did something amazing. What are we waking folks up to though? Third Coast Royalty. I mean, I agree with you that we're trying to wake folks up. I do believe that there is room for tears and war because every now and then you have to empty your vessel of everything so that it can be refilled with the positivity of the community around you. Right? Every now and then I have to cry out all my pain, fears, and frustrations like I did in that My Fibro Life video so that I can come back and be refilled with love and peace and kindness from Blind Guy, his wife, their life, from my Vivid Life, and from folks like you, right? You all being here in this stream, that's love. I take that love, I consume it, and then I'm going to put it back out into the community at some point later today, tomorrow, someone I meet on the street, whatever it is. So my question is, what do you want us to wake them up to? Right? Because today it's all about being woke. But what is woke really? How do you define it? What are the small details of wokeness? Right? People, kindness. You can be kind without ever putting any work. Because kindness seems to be words these days. It's so kind of you to ask me how I'm doing. You ever notice I don't ask people that? It's on purpose. I work really hard not to ever ask anyone, "Are you okay?" or "How you doing?" Because most people will just give you a BS answer. Okay, I'm alright. But if I ask you, "How's your spirit?" Right? Especially if we're face to face, no one asks you that question, so you're gonna take a beat, pause. What did she just ask me? What can I? What can you do with that? Right? Now that I've asked you how's your spirit, it implies that I'm actually concerned. Tell me. I wait. I wait for you to tell me how your spirit is, and then I hope that my spirit feels the same. If not, can I get mine like yours? Get yours like mine? Which one is it? I refuse, Trash Can Waves, to believe that even welfare mamas are out here giving their baby Pepsi. Mostly because the price of sodas are going up, and them little bitty bellies can't take all them bubbles. Obesity is the life in America, Third Coast Royalty, to the point where I am shamed now more as a thin woman than I ever was as a fat one. Uh, and by the way, listen, y'all, this is just a side note, and it's probably in my own, only in my life. But people have no problem shaming skinny people, right? shaming skinny people to the point where I had someone I love very dearly wanted me to move out of their way. And rather than ask me to move, they just picked me up. No. And by the way, it's also happened to me one other time, and I think that's why it triggered me this time. After I had my gastric bypass surgery, like I said, that was 2007. It took about um, a year for me to get 100 pounds off in total. Yeah. So that means, no, I lie. The first 100 pounds was probably off in 6 months. Yeah. But so anyway, 6 months or so after I had the surgery, I went to the bowling alley that one day with my children, and my oldest was about 12 at the time, and we were playing, doing one of those little tussle back and forth kids with the kids things or whatever, and he picked me up and moved me at 12. Oh no, Pippin! Mm-mm. Put me down. Put me down. Right then, right there, we had to have a whole different type of conversation. Listen, I realize that you are bigger than me and stronger than me. But if you ever put your hands on me, I will knock your little dick in the dirt. Never had a problem with my kids putting their hands on me or even pretending like they were going to put their hands on me. But I have a certain level of respect for and from my kids, right? I thought them to be discerning individuals. I don't treat them like children. I do in some ways treat them as I did in some ways treat them as small adults. I gave them the space to have a voice, right? Hey, chili cheese fries and hot dogs aren't bad all the time. Now you're not just gonna be out here judging everything. Moderation is the key. Trash can waves. That as a culinarian, a nutritionist, and a mother, moderation is key. If you don't get them children hot dogs and French fries every now and then, you will have no peace of sanity in your life, and that counts for something. It counts for something. We have to think about that. Everything, and because as black folks, when we decide to get healthy, we shun everything that our people ever ate, right? All of a sudden, because we are going to be healthy, we can't have collard greens, we can't have fat back, blah blah blah. Now listen, maybe not the fat back, or just one Sunday a month. But we just, if we gonna let something, we gonna let it all the way go. We gonna kick all the blackness to the side. All of the nope, can't do none of those things that are true to who we are. Do you ever think that some of the reasons that, like, my children's great grandmother on their father's side, that woman is 104. I can guarantee you she didn't just get rid of everything that she had ever eaten in her life at some point in order to be able to still be here. I can guarantee you that it came with some compassion and some grace. Oh, and she is Spitfire. She's like 4'11", and that thing she'll tell you to shut up in a heartbeat. What you gonna do? She 104. You gonna sit down and shut up? I agree with you, Third Coast Royalty. That is how the system was designed, to keep our children in the situation where all they could be were consumers and producers. And when I say producers, I mean producers of bullshit. Producers of the things that other cultures and communities need. We don't produce jobs. We produce drama. And that's the problem. You know, the system was designed to keep people in it. Once you're indoctrinated, you're okay with getting the food stamps and going to buy whatever. I'm okay with you having the need to get EBT or SNAP, but I want you to go to the farmer's market and get double your money for fruits and vegetables. Okay? That's what I want for you. But maybe you don't know that you can do that. Maybe you don't know that there's a place called Papa Murphy's Pizza that you can use your EBT card to get pizza. Now you're all thinking, no, that's not okay. Why? It's not cooked. Eaten in moderation, pizza, it's got carbohydrates, protein, dairy, vegetables. Yeah? You can also get a salad. You can get a whole healthy meal on your EBT card at a pizza place. So there's no excuse when you say you can't do better by your family. I'm too tired. I work there. Drive right past there, walk right past there, whatever it is. There's no excuse. You can find these things out. Somebody knows these things. But if all we ever do is think about the design and complain about the design, not the solutions, not the workarounds, we just complain. That's what we do out here. Our folks get in the YouTube streets and we just complain, complain, complain. I'll go on to a live stream panel and all I hear is all of our problems, all of our issues. And then the solution is usually, well, somebody should. What about you? Are you not a somebody? What is you gonna do? I believe there's a documentary with fat babies, and it was probably kind of adorable because it's fat babies. That's our other thing. Just because we look at fat babies and we call them cute, when did they stop being cute? Because when your fat baby is 6, you calling them fat. If it's not 6, maybe it's 16, right? Whatever it is, your fat baby that you encouraged to be fat by overfeeding for the first 5, 6 years of its life is now a fat adult, and you treating it like you're treating it bad. Where's your onus? Where's your responsibility for the fat babies? If your baby looks like a popped can of biscuits, you probably need to change what you're feeding them and work on being a better parent. We can crack some eggs, we can crack some. We just got to do it in a way that we don't have to continue to injure our people, third coast royalty. And we're doing way too much of that in our so called efforts to do no harm, right? Or what is it? To be inclusive and to be as inclusive and diverse as possible, we have to open up our thinking to way too many things that, well, maybe we just ain't there for right now, right? Maybe the egg we don't need to scramble at a minimum, right? Listen, it's hard for me because when I look at our children, I see and I know that they cannot assimilate, but we're letting them grow up with the idea that they can. I.e., our children are not like their white counterparts, and we aren't telling them that. We are saying, yep, you can be just like them. You can go dye your hair blue, red, green, purple, and no one's going to think differently of you. And it's not true. We have to be realistic about the standards at which our children are judged at. That we have to do something different. And I don't this is my effort, right? Me sitting here telling you my story, how I murdered a fat chick, hoping that the thumbnail entices one person to come in here who otherwise wouldn't have. Hopefully they'll be offended by the damn thing. Is there anybody in the chat right now who's offended by the title and wants to come up and say something? Or just for the pure hell of it, because I've never done it before. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it just off the hell of it. If y'all come up, I'll be truly surprised. But mostly, um, I just want to see if I can put the feature in there. I did it, y'all. I know how to do so many things on here already. I'm so excited. Ta-da! Trash can waves, you ready? It's probably going to take me another 12 years to get to my 1,000 followers. But when I do, you need to be ready with your wrench because I got you covered. Um, Here's the thing, blind guy, his wife, their life. One of the things that we don't do is raise discerning young adults, right? And so if we raise discerning young adults, when the ads are out there and we know that they're selling our kids all the bullshit, oops, sorry, all the BS, like Coney Island food, my favorite fried Oreos or a funnel cake. Ooh, I will forget that I'm not supposed to have sugar on an empty stomach if you bring me a funnel cake. And when you do that, have y'all? Has everybody eaten already? Put a one in the comments if you've eaten. Because I don't want to tell you about this thing if you're getting ready to go have breakfast or something like that. But there's a side effect to having the gastric bypass surgery, that's really gross. Um, but I don't want to. Like I said, it's gross. So y'all put a one in the chat if you want to hear the story. If not, I'll let it wait for another time. I agree, third coast royalty. Eating and not eating can kill you. What you put in your body 100% matters. And when you say eating can kill you, it's not just about what you physically eat. What you eat, what you put in here, what your brain consumes, right? That is why I do the theme songs every day. Because I, all over the internet, we keep hearing black men, black mothers, black parents talking about, oh my God, what this, such and such and that. It's so bad, it's so whatever. My, hey, look! Hi!
What's happening?
I feel so special. How are you? Thank you.
Doing great. How you doing?
I am doing well. What are you up to this evening, you handsome young black man?
I ain't doing that, man. I'm down here in the country, enjoying the outdoors right now.
What part of the country?
I'm in Alabama.
Oh, okay. I'm originally from Memphis, by way of a bunch of other places though.
That what's up. Yeah, I'm down here in
Do you have
Alabama.
children of your own?
Yeah, I got 3 kids,
B- boys or girls?
2 girls and a boy.
Do you parent them differently, do you think?
My girls, yeah, my boy different because he's the youngest. So I'm more hard on my girls than I am on him. But he's only 7, so when he get about 10, I already told him, you know what I'm saying? If this was a different place and different time, at 10 years old, you would have to go hunting and come back by yourself with something. So he already know that, you know what I'm saying? So he ready.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he ready.
So when I asked you earlier, I asked you what are we waking them up to? So I think that's my question to you still. What do you think it is that we need to get them woke to?
Reality. And when I say reality, I mean the reality of certain types of destruction. Like like food, when you was talking about food, a lot of foods are not healthy, and we know this because, obesity and other things that are going on in America today. But people don't understand that eating healthy is life. When you eat unhealthy, you're actually shortening your life because you're mucking up the system of your body. So you got to be more conscious of what you eat and what you consume. And when I say what you consume, I mean reading too, like stuff you put in
Yes.
your brain, what you watching. You got to be careful of what you consume in your body and in your mind because you can put some stuff in there and it'll get you messed up. And a lot of us don't know what's good and what's bad. I noticed that with people. They don't know
Yeah.
what's good and what's bad. They can't differentiate the two.
I'm in agreement with you there. I think that one of the things,
Trash
and
can
I don't
ways. I got
know.
2 baby mama. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you for answering him. I don't know when we stop putting this into our children. It's got to be my mother's generation. So I guess that would be boomers. But somewhere along the way, we stopped putting into our children the idea of what they represent, right? We are allowing them to believe that they are like their white peers or their other culture counterparts, and can move like that. But they can't. When our children leave the house, they are a representation of them, the family, and the black community, right? And we haven't. Well, let me put this a different way. I was taught that because I grew up military and I had to spend some time overseas as a child. So I was told at 11 when I got my first ID card, you now represent your family, your country, da 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 da, da, and you had better walk right. Did you have that experience somewhere in your life?
So I grew up in Alabama. I grew up farming. So at a young age, we had to get out here and pick peas and everything. Like from every crop that you can name, my grandparents raised it. I didn't have my mom and dad. I had my grandparents. So it was a little different for me than it is for my kids. At a young age, yeah, I had to get it. I feel like at the age of 16, I could have graduated high school. I had a job, I had a car, I had a bank account. I was taking care of my elderly grandparents. And, 2 more years of high school didn't really do much for me, but prepare me for college. And then college really didn't prepare me for life. I was already ready for life. So, fortunately for me, I had a lot of people in my life that helped me out other than my mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So these other people, I feel like they were sent from God because they did more for me than what my parents could have done for me. If my parents were here, I don't know what would have happened. But because they weren't here, I know what did happen, and it was wonderful. So
Yeah.
I and I feel like that's how it was meant to go for me. You know what I'm saying? It was meant to go like that because it put me in the position that I'm in.
One thing is me or for me, and I think that what our people tend to forget is that each journey is unique, right? Or each story. We're all on the same journey, right? In my opinion, we're all on the same journey to find and heal that energy, our spirit. Whatever it is that the spirit that we are carrying in this vessel right now is supposed to be working on, that's what we're here for. We're all on that same journey, but the story is different. And just because your story looks like a dude who came up in Alabama and was farming, and mine got to be a middle class military black girl, doesn't mean that we don't have a connection that's deeper than that, right? We need to get back to that part, what we're connected to. And if we can go back there, then we can start to heal our children and our future.
I had came on a live about 2 3 days ago, and a similar question was asked, and I said, you know, each family, if everybody in their family takes care of their family, when it gets to the next person, we can help them more because everybody will have a leg to stand on. But if we
Yes.
just all rushing out to go and so willing to help somebody, but we can't goddamn pay our own light bill. If I can't pay my light bill, I can't help you, man. And it's no knock or no slight against you. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta make sure that me and mine are straight first. And once I make sure me and mine are straight, then I can start helping other people. But until I get my family right, or until I remove the veil from my own eyes, I can't help nobody else.
Here's the thing though, when you say my family, are you making sure that everybody in your family is doing the part for each other, right? For instance,
The ones
I'm
who I
not
can
here.
help and the ones who need help, yes.
Okay, because like I'm not here in Tucson. I don't have a family other than my son, but I have a community that I call my family. A young lady who lives across the way from me, another young man, and we share as many things that we can, right? So when I go to buy groceries, I buy groceries and cook for all four of us because I can, and that takes some of the stress off of them. Are you showing your people how if I do this and you do this, then we're doing it together, and that's moving us forward?
And you put it on your page earlier. You said lead by example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm that. That's me. I lead by example.
Okay.
Uh, if someone comes to me and asks me some information, 9 times out of 10 I can help them with that information. 9 times out of 10, and informing people, I swear to God, that's one of my most favorite things in life to do. Inform people on things that they don't know nothing about because I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of like I be up all night. So, so I be on the internet or I be at work. I used to work a forklift job, which I do anything to make money for real. For real, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest with you. I do anything to make money because I ain't gonna go hungry for nobody. So I used to be up at night and I used to work overnight. So it's kind of like hard for me to sleep at night sometimes. So I be up all night. So I just start reading stuff, all the different articles on Yahoo or Google, whatever. I just be going into information. So when I go out in the public and somebody say something, I can inform them because a lot of people have misinformation or they don't know or it just they don't have access to it, because I'm a barber. So when I'm in the barber shop, a lot of people just don't know and they'll just say the first thing that comes to their head.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, come on, man. Just
Well,
think about what you're saying before you speak, bro.
and that's the thing. Why do we? And I'm saying this right hand to God. I feel like it's us on a
Oh no.
large scale. Why do we have such a hard time admitting that we don't know something? Right? Like I love these young men that are around me right now, but you just starting out working, yeah. just starting any kind of job. You're 20, 21. And then you have a bad day where you done messed up the church money. You're madder at you than your boss is. Why? Because you expected to be the best goddamn bagger cashier thingy coming out the gate. How? You've never done it before. Why do we have such a hard time saying, I don't know? Or can you help me?
Because of failure. No one wants to be rejected and no one wants to fail, you know. When you put yourself to a test, you're going to be harder on yourself than any other critic out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, man, ain't nobody in your head but you. Give yourself a break,
Yes.
man. Take it easy on yourself a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? You going home, looking in the mirror, asking yourself, why did I do this? Why did I do that? Take it easy. Take it easy, son. Take it easy.
Where were you when I was trying to start this channel 6 months ago? Somebody could have told me imposter. You could have been like, listen, that's that imposter syndrome shit. Get over yourself and get on the internet already. Like
Yeah, take
I
it
really
easy, man.
did.
Take it easy.
You're right though. It does. It's a certain level of just getting outside of your own head that we also haven't taught our children. But we have these bad habits that we picked up, and as I was trying to explain to Blue the lead attorney's live stream last night, it starts with us. If you immediately lead with your defense mechanisms, and the person on the other side immediately leads with their defense mechanisms, how y'all gonna move the message?
But you
How are
see,
we gonna get anywhere?
what happened though. Defense mechanism. That's a survival tactic. You see what I'm saying?
It is instead of
The
thrive.
person is in survival mode. I tell it's another thing I tell people. Black people have never been liberated. So their minds is still in defense mode and their minds is still in survival mode because that's what we do in America. We surviving from the police, we surviving from everything that's going on. Everything, not just crime. I'm talking about
Yeah.
everything. So you have to liberate your mind as far as get something. You have to set a goal and accomplish that goal so you can feel accomplished in
Yes.
your own self. You see what I'm saying? So you can
Yes.
hold on to that accomplishment. I don't care if it ain't never a high school diploma. Cherish that accomplishment. That way you can move forward and start tackling other topics or other things that you may have
Yes.
going on, man. Because a
Because
lot of
once
people
you
have never been liberated. I promise you, they don't know nothing.
thank you. That's the word, liberated. And you're right because once you learn how to do it, I call it resilience, my unicorn spirit, whatever strikes me in the moment. But once you've learned to do a set of things, it's muscle memory for you. Like when I went over to help the young lady and I gave her a set of things, like you need to wake up every morning with intention. That's why I do a theme song. It gives you something to start with, right? What do I have planned for today? Do I feel like I'm going to make it through the day? If you do that every day, it gives you a foundation. And then if you think about it, if you turn that into putting your goals down, I got 3 goals today. If you meet 2 of those goals and celebrate meeting the 2 and plan on making the third one the next day, celebrate that. You did that. And every little bitty thing, yeah, you can pat yourself on the back. You can't expect other people to. You only get a minute to do it and then you need to move on to the next thing. Celebrate your accomplishments, big and small, but keep trying to accomplish more. We're not putting that into them. And I don't understand why. You say that we're not liberated, but there's something in there. Our people have a thrival gene. They just it hadn't been turned on. So how do we teach them to thrive instead of survive? What is you learned it, I learned it. What is it? What's
But see, I was
the
born with
thing?
it. I was born with it, you know. My mentality is if I want something, I go get it. Now, if I fall short of that something, that doesn't mean I still don't want other things. See, a lot of people, once they fall short of the one thing that they want, they give up on other things that they maybe could accomplish a little bit easier or a little bit faster. You
Yeah.
know, or people might go to college and then they might not get their degree, or they might not, their grades might not be good, or a person might get a job and they might want that certain promotion, or because they feel like they the best for that position, and then they get somebody hired. For example, I quit a job, good job. I was working at a job, and I had been working at that job for I don't know 6 8 months. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? It was a good job. I was going every night. So the supervisor called in a guy and he asked me to train the guy. So, you know, I was like, okay, cool, you know, it's a new guy, whatever. So I'm talking to the kid or whatever. He was younger than me. So I'm talking to him. and I'm asking him questions about him. And he said, man, this is my first job. I'm 23 years old. I ain't never worked nowhere before in my life. So I'm like, okay, boom. Next thing I know, he getting hired on. And I was still a temp. So I was like, oh, okay. So they gonna get me to train this guy so he can work like me, and then they're gonna
Hmm.
put him in a position over me. But they didn't know that I already had everything in my life going for me. So I just, I chunked them the deuces and kept it going. But I just seen how that could affect certain people. Now it pissed me
Yes.
off, but it didn't affect me to the point of it gonna ruin my day. But I was like, damn, they're gonna try to. I felt played, so I dipped. I left.
Okay, so here's a question for you, and it's up here on the screen. You said you woke up like this. Now,
Oh
I'm
yeah, I woke
going
up
to
like that.
pull back just a little bit. And we're going to have to have a conversation. Okay?
Okay.
Who do you think put that in you? Right? You think you literally just popped out the room super, super ready to go? Or did somebody in your life, you said your parents, weren't able to for reasons, but somebody in your life put something into you? Yeah? You didn't just.
Well, like I told you, I was raised with my grandparents. My
Okay.
grandparents raised me, and probably till I was 6 years old, I slept in the bed with my grandma. So she loved me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My grandma loved me, and I was the favorite child for a while. I think that had something to do with it. I was the favorite child until some younger kids came along, and then they were favorites. You know how it goes, and your parents are gonna love somebody else under you, and it's gonna keep going, and the love
Yeah.
keep going, and keep spreading the love. So as far as love being spread to me, love was spread to me in that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as my mindset, it comes from me.
Oh,
Uh,
indeed.
like I said, I was an athlete. I think that had something to do with it. Um, just being confident, that had something to do with it.
Where'd you get the
Not being
confidence
jealous.
from?
I ain't never been jealous of nobody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never looked at your
So,
plate and wanted to eat off your plate. I've always wanted
is
to see why it's not on my plate. Like,
okay.
can I put it on my plate, or can somebody put it on my plate, or what do I do to get my plate to look like his plate or her plate? I don't worry about your plate. I just want to see if my plate is full or if my plate is satisfactory.
Well, my question to you is: do you think that some of that has to do with pretty privilege? Because I mean, let's be real. You're an attractive young black man, which means you've probably been that way the majority of your life. You may have been thinner or a little bit heavier at times or whatever, but in general, do you believe that the confidence comes from the fact that you never had to worry about being less attractive?
I've heard of that concept. I've heard of that concept, and I know a lot of people use that concept when it comes to TV or like Q ratings and stuff like that. Your Q rating can be high if you're attractive, or so on and so forth. But yeah,
So,
my confidence comes from the way I look. I never just said I was all this and all that because I'm humble.
yeah.
But at the same time, I think it comes from I know what I want. I make a plan, and I try to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, I will not discredit you by saying that your drive and determination, all your own, have not gotten you exceptionally far. It's just that I'll give you an example. Like I said, I lived in Germany, so in the '90s, from '93 to '95, we lived in Germany, and I graduated from high school, so I was over there as a single black female with no job. This was black when we were a little bit more back when we were a little bit more black community love, the Cosbys and all that jazz. All the black people wanted to love each other. So being in Germany, even though I was 17, 18 years old, 180 something pounds, and Big Shirley was my nickname, I still got a pretty pass because I was a single black woman in Germany.
Mhm.
So there is some truth to it. You know what I'm saying? We have to be honest about that. Now, I also did meet and marry my husband over there, and it was had nothing to do with those things. But we have to keep in mind that some of our perspectives, some of the things that we have achieved, are outside of our control. I had nothing to do with us at all. You
I
know,
mean, not for me. Everything I got, I earned it. You know what I mean? Like I told rebuilding Black Wall Street, I got felonies. You know what I'm saying? So that
yeah,
means I've been into it with the law, and trying to get a lawyer in a city that the all the lawyers in that city work with the court some kind of way. It's one dude told me, man, they trying to railroad you. This is the person that's I want to defend me. And he's telling me when he go look into my case can be won, but he can't win my case because of something else. You know what that let me know? That let me know they all in it together. So it
Yeah.
wasn't nothing I could do. Wasn't nothing I
Okay.
could do. You know what I mean? So I had to go out of city. I had to go out of my city to get a lawyer from another city to try to take my case. And none of them was trying to hear my case.
Mm. So, I think that blind guy, his wife, their life, made a valid point. She said, sleeping with grandma boosts your confidence because you're loved and safe. And I have to admit, well, let me ask you, and as a man, I think you might see this a little bit different, though. Like, having that comfort and security for that much of your life, don't feel like that played some because you never had I know you had to worry under a certain circumstance, right? But you didn't have to worry every night about whether or not somebody was coming through the window or whether or not you had to be the man of the house. Do you think that had something to do with it? You might have dropped out, so I'll wait.
Ask your, no, 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 no. Ask your
Okay.
question again. I had one of my family members here. Just ask me again.
Okay. Do you think that spending that time, having that comfort of being able to sleep in your grandmother's bed, of being around you, of knowing that you didn't have to be the man of the house at an early age, all of those things, do you think that it allowed you to be more confident in a positive way?
Well, it helped me. Like I told you earlier, having my grandparents and all my family members around me was better for me because they all supported me growing up, and
Yeah.
we all supported everybody growing up. Like I told you, we was farming, and we didn't have much, but we took what we had, and it was like, man, we was in Hawaii somewhere, man. You know what I'm saying? We was doing good with what we had because we
Yeah.
didn't know about more. We would see more on TV, but it's one thing to see something on TV and then have a reality at the same time. So I feel like, yeah, I wanted to have the new J's, or yeah, I wanted to have a BMW or a fancy car, or whatever. But we took whatever we had, and the shoes I had or the clothes I had, I kept them clean. I kept everything on the up and up. So I never, like I told, I never looked at somebody else's plate and wanted to wonder why their plate was more full than mine. I just worried about my plate. And I feel like if
Yeah.
everybody take care of themselves, we can take care of each other because we can have a leg to stand on.
See, this is where you and I think in some ways, in theory, not in practice, disagree. Um, because what you say sounds like individualism does capitalism, where I say a similar thing in that I say we need to work together as a community and do for one another, right? But what you're saying is you need to take care of yourself first before you do the community part. And what I'm saying is we need to start at the community level and build our way up to being able to be individualistic. And I think if there was anything that I was going to say where we disagree, that's probably it. Somebody, was that a
One
singing? What
second,
happened there?
one second.
I'm in agreement with you at Trash Can Waves. I tell my sons all the time that one of the most important things to do is if they're not a positive influence in your life or not moving in the direction that you're trying to go, you need to negate those people from your life. We don't have time to be dragging
Yeah.
people along and all that nonsense.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got you. Uh-huh. I'm sorry.
Ain't that adorable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah, I'm
sweet.
sorry. Yeah. I told you. These my people, man. I didn't hear that last question either. I'm sorry.
Oh shoot! I don't even know if I remember. Let me go back. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm with my folks.
Let's see. Nope. I'm gonna do you one better. So
Okay.
you are. What would you say? You're in your 30s.
37.
37. Are you in a long-term relationship or?
I have a girlfriend, which is my baby mother. So I got two baby mamas. I got two kids by one, and I got one child by the other. My daughters are 11 and 10. My son is 7. Now, my second baby mama, I have a daughter with her. She's 10, and my son is 7. My first baby mama, my child is 11. So I'm with her. But, like I told you, I got to take care of my business. So sometimes I be down here with my folks because I got older people in my family. And like I told you, they raised me. So there's no way I can turn my back on them. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
need something from me. I'm there.
So I guess my question, and because I said tell your story, right, and lead by example is what you said. One of the things that I'm noticing about your story and your example is you made some bad decisions, right? We can agree, or some. I don't want to say bad because that's a very subjective kind of thing, but you understand what I'm saying. You made some
Right.
choices that maybe weren't the best. Um,
Right.
so what are you telling them now? When you tell your story, are you telling them the whole thing? Listen, in that moment, I was going through this, and this. Or are you just giving it baseline, like, are you giving them enough information for them to understand who you were as a man and that at some point they might either have to be that man or support that man?
As far as when I'm telling my kids,
Yes.
okay, so when I'm telling my kids anything, it's from a position of how do they feel about it. And then once I understand how they feel about it, I can tell them the truth about it. But I don't tell my kids stuff if they can't understand it because their minds are not as developed as my mind. So I can't expect them to understand what I'm telling them. So once they understand something and grasp a concept, that's when I start to explain more to them. I don't give it to them before they know it. I let them I put it out there a little bit. I might say this and say that just to see how they're gonna respond to it. And if I get a defensive reaction like we was talking about earlier, then I'll know that they're not ready for this information, and I hold the information. But then I'm still watching their movements to see, hey, you remember what I told you now? Well, Daddy, you had said, and then we go from there.
Yeah. So let me just take a pause to say thank you to everybody who showed up here. Y'all make me feel so loved. I don't know if you were here in the beginning when I said there is the your family of origin and the family that you create. And you guys, the family, this little struggle stream crew, y'all showed up for me, and I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you coming up here. Do you mind telling me your first name?
My name Lewis.
Lewis, thank you so much, Lewis. I was fine talking to myself and an absolutely empty chat room, but you have made my day, so I appreciate it. We made it 2 hours, y'all. I swear I thought I was going to be on here 15 minutes and crying about being fat my whole life. So I appreciate you so much. Yes, Trash Can Ways, I do think that Grandma's Hand should probably be a theme song for today. One thing I can say, though, is I did not grow up with my grandmother.
But
My
my
mother's
granddaddy was
mother.
there too, though. I'm saying
What?
my grandma because she was the one in
Yes.
the house. But when I stepped out that door, man, it was all me and granddaddy. That was my
And
best friend. I never.
that's
Let
the
me tell you
thing.
something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, that's the
Now I was just
thing.
gonna say
It's
it's
my
hard on the
first
internet.
dream.
Yeah, it's hard on the internet. It is kind of hard. Everybody talking at the same time. But I'm gonna listen to you because I'm on your page. So go ahead.
I appreciate that. But one of the thing is like I said a few days ago in a theme song, I had my dad. My dad is amazing. Now, I can tell you the honest truth. When I was 13, 14, I couldn't stand my daddy. He knew it and I knew it. When I was 18, I actually bucked up to him one time. He had to remind me. I had blocked it out my memory because, I was a good daughter. I was the best daughter. But I had a dad. My dad was there every day, right? Except for deployments and going to the field. My dad wasn't the type to be oozing all of his feelings or whatever, but he made sure that my homework got done. I had a roof over my head. And I got my butt beat occasionally when necessary, and that's what we're missing. But why won't we say it, Lewis? Why
So I
won't we
had my
say it?
dad too. I had my dad too. But my dad was married. He had a wife and he had 3 other children by his wife. But he would come by and one thing I remember from my childhood is funny now that my daddy would come by here pretty much because I stayed with my dad's parents. I stayed with my dad's mom and dad. So when he came to see his mom and dad, I was here. Okay, so He would get paid on Friday. Now my mama had him on child support, and I never got none of that money. So my daddy would give me $1. You know what I'm saying? He would give
A
me
dollar?
$1. Now
Excuse me.
you might say, well, dog, why you woo, woo, woo. It didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me that he gave me $1. It only started to affect me when I realized that my daddy was paying child support and my mama didn't tell me. Did I just go out? No, she muted her mic. Okay.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic. The puppy is back here throwing around some plastic jugs, so I'm here
Yeah,
with you though.
yeah. It wouldn't bother me. That wouldn't bother me that he gave me $1. But you know what I'm saying? I noticed it. I took note of it. But back to what I was saying about my granddaddy. So my granddaddy, to me, was the best one out of all of them. The reason why I say that is because me and him spent so much time together when I was young, right? So when I got older and went to college, and so I would come home sporadically. I would like just come home if I played football too. So if I had a bad game or if I didn't do good or something like that, I would just come home, show up at the house, and go to my room. You know what I'm saying? Because I only went to school in Tuscaloosa, and I live like 35 miles away. So I
Mhm.
could go home. I could come to my house that I grew up at and be back in class in the morning. So I would just come home, and I promise you, 1,000 times, I could never. My granddaddy always knew what was wrong with me. I didn't even have to open my mouth. I didn't even have to say nothing. He already knew. You need some money, or you having problems with girls, or you playing that football, or you ain't got your grades bad. He already knew. I didn't even have to say nothing. My reaction, because me and him spent so much time together when I was young, my reaction he already knew. So he already knew how to deal with me. We would go out there. We be picking peas. My granddaddy we had farm crops that we grew to sell, and then we had a garden that we grew for the house. So he would be in the garden, and I would come in the garden, and he would be doing everything. My granddaddy woke up 5 o'clock every morning, cup of coffee, boom, he out the door, and he don't come back in the house until it's time to eat. My grandma had breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready. These people I'm
Mhm.
talking about, they were farmers, and my folks were born in the 20s. So my parents that raised me were from the 20s. I had to understand a mindset of a person that was born in the 20s, being born
Mhm.
in the 80s, trying to
Mhm.
progress in the 90s. You see what I'm saying? So that
Mhm.
was a feat in itself. So I would come in the garden, and then we would start talking, and he'd be like, grab that hoe over there, and let's start getting these weeds out of this stuff. But that was his way of cultivating me, just like we cultivating this land. He gonna teach me how to get these weeds out of these butter beans, but at the same time, he gonna tell me a story about life. He gonna tell me a story that that I can relate to, that's going on in my life. Just like when you read the Bible, it's a lot of stories in the Bible that you read that can relate to your life every day. And that's how me and my granddaddy was. He would relate to me in life every day, even
Right,
though I
because
was way
sometimes,
younger than him. Go ahead.
right, because sometimes it's about the quality of the time you spend and not the quantity, and that's what I try to remind a lot of people. Like I said, we're always complaining about why we don't have this, we don't have that. Um, so like last night when I was talking to Blue and sometimes when I speak to Adrian, I try to tell folks we need to be mindful of the moments. We're looking for the wrong things when we're dealing with one another. We're looking at what they aren't doing, what I expect them to do versus in this moment with this person, what am I getting from them and what does it do for me? Right? In that moment with your grandfather, he was providing knowledge, wisdom, encouragement, love, support. Can you see those things and how are you making sure that you put them into your kids?
I do the same thing with them. Like I was just telling you, I don't force nothing on them. My kids, they are an extension of me. They're bright. They
Right?
catch on very easily. Like I don't even have to do much. I can just, like if it was a puzzle, I can just drop the puzzle on the floor and turn around and they'll put that thing together. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like that. Now, as far as all subjects, I'm not gonna say I was like that in all subjects, but I knew when I failed at something, it wasn't the end of the world, and that's what I tell them. Like when kids play games now, 'cause a lot of kids be on their devices, they be playing video games, and if they be like, "I died," I be like, "You didn't die. Your character, you just, you respawn or something like that." I use different words. I don't use,
Yeah.
I teach them different terminology other than death and stuff like that because it's a lot of death and you know what I mean. For kids, you can't just introduce them to that harshness early. Which they gotta know it because, like I just told you, in order to get an omelet, you gotta break some eggs. So they gotta
Yeah.
know it. But I bird feed that information to them. I bird feed them with that information.
Yeah, that was one of those. It's a side subject, but hey, we're here. Raising young men. That was how I went about teaching them not to put their hands on young women over the years. You start out with the baseline. Don't put your hands on anybody. Don't let anybody put their hands on you. And then over the years, the school system and society makes the separation between boys and girls. Well, no, we need to be real clear about it. So I had to teach my sons, as they got to the school age years, when it comes to a little boy, if he puts his hands on you, immediately, you can push him back. Don't put your hands on me because you all are equals the way that world sees it. But when it comes to a little girl, they don't see it that way. So you're going to have to step back. Hey, keep your hands to yourself and then find an adult to let them know. Right. And then as you get older, that changes. And at some point, when they were like 16, 17, listen, if she man enough to put her hands on you, she's man enough to get knocked out. We need to start speaking truths, real ones, to our children. The one thing that I can say that I did do wrong is because I'm not a woman who would ever put my hands on anybody, especially a man. I did not teach them the signs of what to look for in an abusive woman. I
Okay.
didn't know. So my question to you for making that statement is, what about the like? Have you considered that you said that you don't know everything, and so you may make some errors. But how are you finding, or who are you using to bridge that gap?
As far as making errors,
Yeah, like the things that you got wrong before, and maybe you still haven't learned quite right, or the things you just can't get wrong. I mean, you can't get right because you're not a girl. You can't do all the girl things. Like, who are you using, and what's the metric you use to choose someone to have in your kid's life?
me personally, I let my mistakes do the teaching. If I make a mistake, I'm gonna learn from my mistake. And upon learning from my mistake, that means I'm gonna do better. Now, as far as a person, like just say like you saying call my mama or something like that. No, I don't. I do it myself. You know, so I use me for everything. I'm the one. I'm the link. I'm the key. I'm the king. This my throne. You know what I mean? So I ain't
Yeah.
got time to be worried about if I got to give it to somebody else and let somebody else do it, or her mama will do it, or her grandmama will do it, or no, I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna address it. And then a lot of times they try not to tell me, but my kids got cell phones, so I call them. The ones that I don't live with, I call them.
Yeah.
So and then they tell me this and that, that is and that. And then just like any other mother, they tell their kids not to tell you stuff. But my daughters, daughters love their dads. So they're gonna tell me whatever I'm asking them. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell me. It might take a week or they might not tell me immediately because mama told me not to tell you or something like that, but that's okay. Do what your mama
Okay,
said
listen.
do.
I hear you, but we got to go back to this. Because what did I just say to you about me and my daddy?
I
I
got
couldn't
you. I
stand
got you.
him.
I
That
got you.
man beat my tail. But now you
Yeah,
saying girls love their daddies. Now, mind you,
they do.
I love the hell out of my daddy right now. But
I'm
there is a
trying to tell
point
you.
when we can't stand each other, right?
Because he doesn't let you be that woman that you want to be until you're ready to be that woman.
True. One of the things like I ran into the manosphere, Kevin Samuels, and the lead attorney probably about May, April, May, around
Hmm.
420 for sure. And immediately after watching about four Kevin Samuels videos, I was like, he sound like my daddy. I remember hearing all of this. Oh, that's why I behaved the way that's why he said, I called my daddy. I'm 45. Daddy, I love you. Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't realize then what you were to me. But now I truly understand that even though, like I said, my father vetted my husband. My father actually worked with my husband for a couple of years before we married. Um, and we thought one thing, it happens. He just didn't turn out to be that person. But my dad was there. He told me what to look for. That counts for something. And if you don't have your father for whatever reason, or your mother, there has to be someone there. I think my thing right now is Because we are so divided as a people, there seems to be no one there on anybody's side. So my question is, how do we get people like you and me to stand in the space just to be willing to be on someone's side? I know you said you got to take care of you and yours first, but the
Got you.
realism is that we know 72% of our kids are born without a somebody by their side.
I got you right here. I can answer that question. Now, I just learned this answer too. Shout out to Rebuilding Black Wall Street. Patricia was on his page, and Patricia said, because I was talking about economics. Remember, I told you I was coming from a place of, you get you some money and you build you something. Now, Patricia said that, damn, I lost my train of thought. Uh, how do I, now what's the question again? Damn, I
Stop
don't.
that. How you going to Oh, the original question was the metric that you use for the people that you allow into your children's
Right.
life.
Okay. Yeah. 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 That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what I was gonna say. Because you got to find common ground. You got to find common ground in order for everybody to come to a common goal. Okay. So I feel like health, like you were saying earlier, health should be the common goal. If everybody come together and try to stop eating all of this industrial farmed food, because a lot of industrial farming is harmful. They're finding products with fecal matter on them. You know what I'm saying? They're finding products that have been tainted in the grocery stores. So if we come together in a effort to make everybody healthy, that's a common ground that we all can stand on. Health is a common ground. Now, some people still want to eat cheeseburgers and some people still want to eat bacon. You know what I'm saying? They can have it, but if they want to be healthy and live a healthy life, then we can start right there, and everybody can start with something. I like blind guy, his wife, her life. She has a health channel. Her channel is health motivated. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that helps me because I try to eat healthy. I I come from an athletic background, but at the same time, I struggle with my weight. Now I say that, and I've been the same weight for the last however many years. But at the same time, it's a health situation. I've never had any health problems or anything like that. Thank God, knock on wood. But at the same
Amen.
time, I know that we need health in America because, like I said, a lot of our kids are not getting
No, you cut out. Somebody calling you. Hold on a second. You cut out, or was it me? It's you. I can't hear you. No, let me see. If you drop out and come back up, let's see what happens. Thank you so much, though, Lewis. I really do appreciate it, and I want to say, when we talk about what we need to do as far as eating and our health and those things are concerned, one of the things that I worry about is we still do it from a peripheral place. We don't get deep enough in talking to people about how to take care of their health, how to maintain their health. And a large portion of that, I think, is due to our own choices and decisions, right? Um, it says your devices aren't connected, Third Coast Royalty, Lewis. Um, we aren't willing to discuss the decisions that we make. Like, I put the thumbnail up there to say how I murdered a fat chick, but also because I'm willing to tell you everything about me, right? What I did in order to get rid of my fat chick, the things that I went through, how I became that fat chick. All of those things matter. And so one of the things that I think that we need to do is make sure that we're being absolutely honest and realistic with our people about what they need to do as far as their diet is concerned. Also, it's not enough for us to just say change your diet. We need to tell people how. One of the things that I want to do is go to a food bank and pick up a box of food and bring it home and show you how to make actual meals that are both nutritious and healthy and that taste good. Like, I know that we need to, also we need to understand that we need to eat to live, but we can enjoy it in moderation. Food shouldn't be about giving us joy or those things. Food is about energizing your body to fuel your day, to do the things that you need to do to be the best you that you can be. That's it. And if you out here foodieing your life away, I know that might have been my career, but if you out here foodieing your life away, that's not what you're doing. You're going to end up having to survive, not thrive. And I just, how we fix that, how we get there, it starts, I think, with teaching people how to eat. I think that, I think it was Shahrazad Ali who wrote How to Eat to Live. But I think that that's an important book. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling people go ahead and get rid of all of the white things that are in your house, all the white processed things, and switch to brown sugar and sweet potatoes and those things. So I think, though, that my question to you, Lewis, is when you say that we need to talk to them about diet and health, you also though say you have an individual mindset in that if you do for your family. So are you coming at this from a business point, like your family farm will now provide the food for the community at a price, or can the
Yeah.
community come to your farm on your land, and together you all sell that or provide for each other and then sell
When
that?
I say health, when I'm talking about that, I mean everybody has to do their part. I don't. We got a lot of land here. I got hundreds of acres here. I have hundreds of acres here, literally hundreds of acres here. Now, no one has farmed on this land since I left high school. Okay, when I went to college, my folks was old. They couldn't do it without our help no more. Okay, my grandmama and them was 80 something. They couldn't do it no more. The spirit was willing, but the body wasn't able. So once all the kids left, now my grandmama raised all my daddy's kids and two or three of her other children. So she raised her kids and her grandkids and some of her great grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So she had lived
Hmm.
a very long, prosperous life. So once we got grown and went off into the world doing our thing, they could no longer farm no more. So when I say everybody, I mean you got to do what you can at your house. I'm gonna do what I can at my house. Now we have to make sure that collectively we're doing, I ain't gonna say doing the same thing, because when each person do something different, that makes the pie good. We can collectively bring whatever you bring to the table, and we can make a farmer's market that way. Or I really wasn't even like I said, economically based, but I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about health. I wasn't even, when I say economically, I mean what's your occupation. When I say economics, I mean your occupation. When I say health, I mean that's for everybody. That's for
Well,
everybody. I don't want no, everybody can get healthy. Everybody, you don't need to charge for that. I ain't gonna tell you to go out there and farm for free. I'm just saying, help somebody else that they can
but
farm at
isn't
their house.
okay? Let me ask you a question though. That's true. Everybody can have a little garden patch or whatever at their house, but everybody ain't got a place to have a little garden patch, right? So my question
Right.
then becomes to you: with the hundreds of acres of land, if you allow folks to come onto your land, farm, I'll say for free, caveat here, okay? Allow them to come on, work your land for free, and in return, they give you said portion of your of their crop, and then they can take said portion home and another portion off to market for themselves. How is everybody not winning? We've plugged all the holes in the boats and everybody is rising. In your scenario, somebody doesn't have a house to be able to grow a garden.
Man, it's a lot of work. You saying that and you saying, hey, everybody, no, it's a lot of work. Like I told you, I grew up farming. It's a lot of work.
Understood?
I've seen people pass out. I've seen people walk off. I've seen people get very frustrated. So I don't want to introduce this to nobody if they not ready to do the work, because it's
But
a lot of work. We hadn't done this in over 15 years.
okay, hold on.
It's woods
You're
out here now.
right.
It's wooded now.
Right, but you and I have spent about an hour having a conversation about all the things that none of us have ever learned how to do. And yet you and I have maintained a certain level of status, right? We learned that somewhere. Now you've gone to school, I went to school. Now that you have it, when you go back, there's still somebody just like 15, 16-year-old you who needed granddaddy to pick up the hoe, right? So you are now granddaddy. You just granddaddy to more children. What is wrong with you going back and teaching those, even if the 16 kids that are right there, 10 of them don't even know if they care about farming, but they're there. They still get all of the other
I can't
information you
I
were
can't waste
talking.
my time though. See, I can't waste my
Wait a
time.
minute. How
Go
is it
ahead.
a waste of time if you are putting, because each one of them is still getting something out of you. They may not all be getting may not all become farmers, right? But each one of them, as you stated, is getting something from you, because while you were farming with your grandfather, he didn't just teach you how to hoe. He talked to you about life. He gave you a story. He gave you other things. So how can you tell me that you would be wasting your time with those other 10 kids just because they didn't become farmers?
When I say wasting my time, I mean I don't want to put my effort into something or someone that's not going to be receptive of that. I only want to put my effort and my will force into people who are going to be receptive. So what I'm trying to say is, if I put it out there, hey man, we farming down here, this, that, and the third, and then three people come, I'm not worried about the rest of them other people that didn't come. I'm only worried about the three people that did come. And then
Okay.
we'll dig out a plot for us three, big enough for us to take care of, and then we'll go from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna worry about putting information out there to everybody because everybody's not gonna
To
understand
use
the or be receptive to what
wow.
I'm saying.
I hear you. Hey, Miss Quita. I put you on mute though. Thank you guys for jumping up. Here's the thing. I will say this. I feel you. Like whoever shows up, you're willing to take them and do whatever it is. But what about the idea that somebody may not know about you yet, right? Or what about the idea that they just don't know for sure until they're in it? Like our people don't have anything, don't know much of anything that somebody else didn't put into them or tell them that they were supposed to do first. If that's how they've always learned, maybe that's how we need you to do it. Quita, I'm going to go ahead and open up your mic too.
Hey everybody, I can't talk long. I know it was your first stream, so I had to jump in and say
Thank
hello,
you.
congratulations, and all of
Thank you,
those good
love.
things. So yeah, and I've been enjoying this conversation, y'all. I was cooking, I was getting ready for the come out here, but this has been so good, and just I wanted to definitely say to you, Lewis, it's very refreshing to have a real man out here manning up, giving us what we need out here. Really responsibility for your children, for your family, for your legacy. If your grandparents are still alive and need a couple of new grandkids, I want to get adopted because wow, that's just beautiful. And but
Unfortunately,
yeah,
you're not alive anymore. I'm sorry. I'm the last
right,
of the
right,
Mohican, baby. It's me. You got me.
That
yes,
spirit lives on. You their legacy, so you make sure you carry that forward, and they'll
Yeah,
always be
it's me.
present. That's the other thing. And I'm sure I
That's
think
why I
Quita,
said
you
it's me.
probably agree with this. We have lost our connection to our ancestors. I'm not talking about Africa, none of that nonsense. I'm talking about right here, the folks that came before us, right here. We have no spiritual connection to them, and yet they are a part of us every day. We know this just by the fact that anytime somebody says the N word, all of us are triggered. We have
right.
a trauma that is tattooed on our souls that has us connected in some way, and yet we move as the most disjointed, disconnected people that are out here. That's what I want to fix.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. We
I
got so
definitely
much
trigger. I
background
definitely
noise, but
get
I agree
triggered.
with you.
I
Oh,
definitely get
Corey says
triggered
hello.
because that's how my folks raised me.
Corey.
How y'all doing? Hey, what's up, man?
So, um, what you say about me, Corey?
I have my headset on, so he can't hear y'all.
Oh,
JP, he said, "Tell JP she don't love me. She didn't give me no love in the comments."
because I'm going to give it right here to your face. I love you so much, Corey. You are the big internet brother that I need. You and Peter Tosh and I, we going to get down and have one good blunt. And I ain't talking about CBD.
I had my headset in, so I was telling him what you said. Oh, Peter gonna scare you, cause he gone. Okay,
Uh-uh.
they changed our display. I gotta
It's in
fix.
the blunt. You know how you can crumble up a little bit of something extra? It's a little bit of Peter's ashes. Don't worry about it. I called the family and they said it was cool.
Got it. Okay. All right. We're ready. I'm going to mute and get what? Oh, she already know we want her come on
Triggered
the
as
show.
black
I do. I'm gonna
word
email you guys
as
this
once before.
weekend.
Now I'm definitely
Yes.
triggered.
All
I am.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Creed. I know you got to put it on mute. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, I'm triggered. Trash can ways. I'm triggered, especially if a white person says it. Definitely
Yes,
triggered. Like I'm definitely triggered.
I'm
Like I
triggered by
told
black
you,
folks
my
saying it.
grandparents were from the 20s. I ain't gonna necessarily say I'm triggered by black folks saying it because black folks say Nigga and white people say Nigger. So it's like to me, they're being demonstrative with it, or they're being targeted with theirs. They're using it as a tool to kind of like dish you or whatever. Or opposed to when another black person says it, it's kind of like a slang term for it could be a derogatory term when it comes to black too. Black can use it derogatorily too, in an argumentative sense. But I can deal with better coming from a black aspect opposed to coming from a white person. If a white person says it, hopefully I don't know them. If I know them, it's definitely gonna be a problem. If I don't know them,
Yeah.
it's still a problem. But if I know them, it's definitely a problem.
Now I can say this: at Trash Can Waves is right in some regards because I've only been here in Arizona since October 2019, and my neighbor, whose life I had to save, she in talking to me during her distress, she said something about her boyfriend, a young white man, and she called him the N word, and I was like, pause. What you not finna do? Oh well, the folks around. I don't care whoever says, not in my presence. I don't let my children. I have three young black men that I raised. The N word did not roam around my house. Neither did the B word. I don't understand that, and
You
I
know,
have a
I
problem.
want to
I
say
Go ahead.
I want to add something to that because my kids, when they hear that, they say, "Ooh," because like you're saying, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's a
And
bad word.
growing up, it was not. It was a regular word,
Hmm.
And so, but like you're saying, like you've been saying, we can change anything in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered. I'm right along with Unique View. I'm not as triggered anymore as I am. Like, let me just manage this differently. Let me do something different with this uh information. Hold on, Corey, what you laughing at? Corey always trying to call me out. Anyways, you don't even know what I'm talking about, Corey. See, I'm a mute. I'm going to mute. But the fact
Okay.
of the matter is, yes, I'm not as triggered either. And at this point, it's one of those things where let me manage it differently, like you did with the young lady. Let me educate her. Let me tell her, nah, this is the reason why you're not going to say that because this is what it
Right.
means. This is what goes on. Even when we were coming in to the stream and I was talking, I apologize for the noise. Um, I was, hey, I was we were telling our kids about why we had HBCUs, because of our oppression, suppression, repression, depression, and all of that. And so it's one of those things where, like Lewis was saying, we have to always teach our kids wherever they are, whatever level
Yeah.
they're at, we got to come from it. And like you're saying, if there are certain words that are triggering us and our kids don't understand why, we got to explain why. We gotta make sure we at least let them know why it's just not okay right now. I'm gonna mute again, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Quita. And I agree. We have to use every teachable moment that we have. And there are so many. And I'm not just talking about with our children, also in our relationships with the peripheral adults around us. We have to do more and be more mindful of in the moment saying, hey, no, that's not okay. Or, hey, thank you so much for being X. Some of that I think for me comes from having come up in volunteer management for 20 years. But we have to, like, when you're dealing with volunteers, you can't beat up on them, right? You can't force them to do anything because you're not paying them. They're giving you their time. So you got to meet them with a whole lot more grace and kindness when you start asking for things. And I think that's something that we need to do is try to look at these children, our situations, moments where, oh my goodness, this is a thing. We need to address it. But how do we address it without allowing it to become a conflict situation? But when it comes to this word, when I say triggered, when I just want to say that no matter who we are, right? If we hear it, each one of us, our eyebrow will perk up or our ear will tick. You know what I'm saying? Something about hearing the word will at least make us be like, the fuck? Or blink. I'm sorry.
especially when it's coming from whoever it's coming from. Now I
Yeah.
got a story because I seen what Trash Can Wade said. He was saying like urban people say it, and Eminem said it, but Hispanic people say it, and we say it's cool. Okay, cool. All right. When I was in college, we had white guys on our team, and you know, just like I know, when you playing football or when you playing sports out there on the field, cats is gonna call you in the word. Cats is gonna talk about your mama. You know, it's
Definite.
dirt. It's a dirty game. Whatever they can do to get you out of your game, they're gonna do that, right? So we had a teammate. He was from Germany.
Mm.
This kid was with us every day because I went to a black college. I went to a HBCU. So it was majority black. The white kids had minority scholarships at my school. Tuscaloosa, I went to Stillman College. Okay. So we had this white kid, you know what I'm saying? And people would try to get him to say nigga. I mean, the N word. And he
Really?
never said it. He
He
was
was
like, I
smart.
would never say that. He was like, I would never ever say that. You know what I'm saying? But we had this other kid from New Orleans. Tip didn't mind saying it. He didn't mind saying it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he got checked. So it's not that other races don't say it or Hispanics don't get a pass for saying it. It's the people that are around them that give them a pass for saying it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they get a pass from their group of people. You know, Cardi B, she got a black husband or black baby dad, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Fat Joe, he grew up in New York or Miami, wherever he's from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they have black culture. They have black friends, and their black friends allow them to
Allow it.
say these things.
You are
So
absolutely correct.
it is okay for them to say it. It's okay for them to say it because they've been saying it. And if you check them about it, you're gonna have to check him and all of his friends that's cool with it. So that's why nobody says nothing to Fat Joe about it. And that's why nobody says nothing to Cardi B about it. Because all the people that are around them allow them to say that. Now, if this person don't allow you to say that, you're gonna be met with repercussions for saying
Yeah, I think that the problem is, like I said, we also don't teach our people to stand on or for anything. So if that word does bother you and someone says it like a Fat Joe or a Cardi B, excuse me, do you say something? And when you say something, is it just so that you said something, or are you making sure to drive home why it matters that you cannot do or say this thing? Like, it's not, we've got to stop. One of the things that I dislike about
it matters.
the idea of calling myself a life coach is because so many life coaches and gurus come out and they only give you part of the information, right? They say to you, set intentions, but they don't tell you how to set intention and move forward. And that's my concern. We're only telling our kids, or people keep saying to do a certain portion of a thing instead of the whole thing. We've got to do better. Like, when you go to fight about that word, when somebody says it in front of me, listen, I'm gonna give you two things right now. One, don't you ever say it in my presence again. Two, if you are a black person and you said it in my presence, you get a small pass because you could die and that'd be the last word that you hear. If you are a Caucasian, you will never say it in my presence because it could be the word that comes out of your mouth when you take one of us out. And I'm very clear about that. And if you're
Exactly,
mad that I
exactly,
speak
exactly,
reality,
exactly.
if you're mad that I say it just like that, then you're not prepared to be in my circle anyway. And that's the thing. We have to tell our kids to
Right.
stand for something, set a boundary, and live by that. What happened to that?
Yeah, like I don't talk to my kids about that though. They haven't. My kids haven't came to me about that yet. My kids are like what the young lady right here was saying. They hear the word and then they be like it's a bad word because I'm assuming the schools are teaching them that. You know, I go
Yeah,
to my kids' school. I talk to their teachers, but when I have a problem with my kids' teachers, I let them know you're not dealing with a child. You're dealing with a parent, and I'm not gonna allow you to do nothing when it comes to my kids. I had an issue with the bus driver and I had an issue with the teacher. And I got both of them straight. And I had
yeah,
to get them straight. I had to go over their head to get them straight. The bus driver I had to go over her head to get her straight. And the teacher I had to go to her and get her straight on the phone. I had to call her and let her know what time of day it was with her. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So
So I want to
Go ahead.
say this to you before I forget, and this is coming one from a black mama. Praise you, my son. Now I don't care what you say. And two, as an early childhood educator, I want you to keep in mind that sometimes we assume that the school is doing a thing because they did it when we were a child, or sometimes we assume that our child hasn't come across or experienced a thing until they bring it to us, and that's not always true. Sometimes they try to fight the fight themselves before they ever tell us what's going on. And so you may want to be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive. Don't wait for them to come to you. Start putting little feelers out there to see where they are. You said you've got an 11-year-old. That 11-year-old has been introduced to some things that you may not be thinking about because when you were 11 they didn't even exist.
Okay. And another thing I was gonna say before I forget, there's only one black place on the planet. That's the Black Sea. I'm a Negro. You know what I'm saying? But I don't say nigger, and I don't use the word. I'm sorry to say that on your platform. I apologize,
It's okay.
but I don't use that. The only black place on this planet is the Black Sea. So I want to get people into the habit of using Negro opposed to black, because
Okay,
at
let
the
me ask
same
you.
time, black is a color, and black is the Black Sea. That's the only black place on the planet, the Black Sea. So
Why does it matter when all color
you're
comes
dripping
from
water when you
black?
talking
First
black.
of all, okay, one, why does it matter when all color comes from black?
Negro.
But two, why does it matter when
It
we
matters because they
are?
don't respect us. It
Who
matters.
cares? They're not going to respect us when we choose one particular name to go up under. They
Yes,
won't
it do. Yes,
respect
it do.
us until no,
When
sir.
you,
They won't
mm-mm,
respect us
yeah,
until I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but let me. They won't respect us until we come together as a people and we defend one another. Until I stand by your side and or your my back to yours, and I'm willing to watch your six, or it's you, me, Corey, and Quita, and everybody's on the side watching out for each other. That's when they'll respect us. They don't respect the fact that Asian call themselves Asians. They respect the fact that they move as a group. They put their money in one spot and they put their power behind all of them. That's what respect is, not in a name.
did you hear what you said? Did you hear what you
What?
said? You said power comes when we come together and watch each other six, right?
Yes.
That means this is power. One, two, three. Up here right now. This is power. We're together, right? Now, when you give something a name, when you name something, you give that thing a power, or you give that power. Now, when you give a color to a race, that's not power. You have to title it in order for it to have power. So if you want to have power, you not only have to have togetherness, you have to have a name.
Okay,
So that's why I choose to use the term Negro instead of black, because
okay,
Negro means something. Black is
I'm
just a
willing
color.
to I'm willing to accept that, but then I got one more question for you, and then I'm gonna give it to you, Quita. Why take one of the words that they've always used for us? Then that's the other thing I have a problem with. We be out here trying
It don't come
to
from them. Negro
reclaim
from
words that
Africa.
don't damn belong to us, and that make us sound bad, and think that if we just go ahead and take a er off and add an a, it's gonna make it somehow better. Or if we start calling ourselves a bi instead of a whatever it is that they called us, why are we reclaiming things that?
No, Negro is a race. Negro is a proper term as far as like Asian, or as far as any other nationality. Negro is a race. Black is not a race. Black is just a color. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say
Yes.
you got to give it a real name in order for it to have power. If you give it a superficial name, if you give it a weak name, your power is not gonna be there. You got to have something that's powerful once you get your numbers up. If you got your numbers up and you just saying orange, red, blue, and we repping these colors, like my man Trash Can Wade said, Bloods and Crips. You know what I'm saying? Bloods and Crips be saying the N word, even though they be white. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even though Bloods and Crips be white, they use the N word because they're associated with another group that allows them to say that, because they're using colors. Everybody repping colors. I'm speaking for Negroes. I speak for me first, and then I speak for Negroes after that, because I'm not black. I'm a Negro. You know what I'm saying? Because see, African American, we don't got nowhere to go. In America, the whites don't accept us. In Africa, they don't accept us. So we really can't be African American. We have to be Negro, native to the land that we're in. Like you said, my parents is from here. My parents ain't from Africa. I may have
Listen,
descended from people from Africa, but my parents are from here.
that's the one thing where we are definitely in agreement. My lineage from somewhere in my genes and DNA. I may be from Africa, but then again, aren't we all? Thanks to Lucy. But second to that, my people been here since as long as I can remember. If you were to drop me in the middle of Nigeria, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with myself. I mean, unless you did it right in the city center,
You don't
where
even look like them folks though.
you know what I'm saying? And this is the thing.
Man,
The
you don't even
whole
look like them
idea
folks.
of they keep
Yeah, I
saying you
know, I
should
know.
repatriate. My people ain't never been nowhere else. We were here. To repatriate, I had to have come from somewhere else first. And when you're talking about 500 years, we've been here.
Patriotism
This
is
is where
rooted
we're
in
from.
supremacy. Patriotism is rooted in supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And there is a dominant society in America. So ain't nobody gonna act
Yes,
like it don't exist.
no, and I will say this: it's rooted in supremacy, but patriotism is truly exhibited by the minorities in this country, right? Who's been in every war? Blacks, Latinos, Indians, right? And we're fighting somebody else's fight every
Who started
time.
every war though?
That's what I'm saying. We fighting somebody
They
else's
go
fight.
started and then they bring us over there to finish.
At the end of the day, though, what I'm looking for is for my people to come together. I don't think that I care what name we call ourselves when we putting it down on a piece of paper, but when we are standing next to each other, if I have to have a name, now listen, Black Lives Matter had a name, and look how that shit turned out.
I
Okay,
told you they just
listen,
using black, and
I'm just,
that's crazy.
but you understand what I'm saying, though, right? It was given a title,
Yes, I do. I
it had a
do.
bunch of people
Yes, I do.
behind it, and they still looking for them $90 million, my family included. Okay, now so
That's
I want
crazy.
us to come
That's
together. That's
crazy.
what I want to know. If you want to be Negro, fine, we'll be Negro. What I want to know is, what do you, me, and Quita, two mothers and a father, what do we call ourselves when we stand up in this struggle stream every whatever day it is, and we start talking about what it is that we think and see as a community? What do we label that? Put it out there, get all the people behind, and make sure we do it. Right? I don't
That's a
want to
good
just be
question.
black. I don't want to be just protesting. I want us to put it into action. When I told them white people that they needed to give me 2 minutes and 54 seconds of their time, I meant it and I took it. So now I want to know, what are we taking? What are we standing on? What are we making sure we get? And what name do you want to put it under?
JP.
Collectively, we have to do this. It can't just be us three, because us three
Right.
can come up with a name and we can get it and we can run with it. But collectively, we have to agree on this. So I think that it needs to be more than three minds before we give it a title, right? And then once we get enough minds with enough brain power, because everybody brain power don't go all the way up. So once we get
Right.
enough brain power in a room or on a stream, you know what I'm saying? Once we get enough brain power together, then we can properly give it a name and we can properly go forward and have a plan. Because you, in order to do anything, you got to have a plan. I don't do nothing without a plan. If I ain't got
Agreed.
no plan, I'm gonna sit back and think of a plan, and then I'm gonna have a backup plan if that plan don't work. And if neither one of those plans work, I go back to the drawing board. I go back to the
Right.
drawing board and I come up with another plan and another backup plan. That's just my method, you see, and that works for me. That may not work for you, and that may not work for a girlfriend over here. That, I'm telling you what works for me. I have to
Well,
plan
indeed.
things out in
But we
order
Can I
need
to
all
ask?
kinds of methods, right? Go,
stick
Quita.
to my guidelines.
Okay, I'm gonna let Quita in just a second, but I want to say this: it takes all kinds to run the world, right? So it takes all kinds to run the Black community or the Negro community or what Negro sphere, whatever you decide to call it. It's gonna take all of us and all kinds, right? So that's my thing. But like you said, it's gonna take us coming together. And Quita, I think it was y'all who mentioned a susu on one of
Yeah,
your streams. I have
it
an
might have
idea
been.
for a virtual susu, but go ahead and say what you were gonna say, and then I'll tell you about it.
Okay, I'm just trying. I was trying to get to a more
He's
quiet
American.
spot because we had all the people coming in, getting ready for the show and stuff. But so I'm gonna say goodbye after I say this. So thank you first of all for having me. Here. Thank you for doing this live stream because you're an amazing orator. You're speaking. You
Thank
you
you.
are the way you can speak with or without an audience. You know what you're talking about. You're confident in the information. That makes such a difference. And so the same way that Lewis is saying, okay, it can't just be the three of us. The fact of the matter is, wherever you are, if you're doing it, if he's doing it, if I'm doing it, Patrice, Trash Can Whips, whoever. So if we keep this energy going, it does make a difference. Whether we're black, whether we're Negroes, whether we're African American, whether we are whatever we are, and whatever we call our lineage, we can be true to ourselves and be our best selves wherever we are in the world. The same
Yeah.
way when you were out there in Germany, you were still black. Whether you were from the States or Africa or Australia, the fact of the matter is, like Lewis was saying, I'm sorry, like you were saying, when you got that ID, you were told to represent something. So really, it's about us constantly representing ourselves, whether we have a name for it or not. Just follow the code, learn the code, practice the code, be the code, live the
Yeah.
code, all of those good things, because there's so much work to be done, so much work. And that this is why this sort of thing is important. Once you have the platform up, once you've talked for your 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, somebody's going to come back and see it. You
Yeah.
know, they're going to skip around, they're going to do whatever. So, hey, I encourage you, keep doing the work, put the chapters in this video after it's over, because that's a
Thank you.
whole other side of the job. But I was just backstage telling the girl when I had to put the mask on, they said to keep it on, but I'm up here by myself right now. So when we were backstage, I told her Corey was getting his mic, and I told her, I said, yeah, I said, this is one of the jobs I'm doing. I take this very seriously. I was on your stream. I was over there on Miss B Vanessa's stream, commenting back
Hmm.
and forth. You know what I mean? It's a job, but
Yeah.
it's not just the job, it's the work. It's of, okay, there's a black person, there's a black person. Let me support that one and that one if I can. So
Exactly.
whoever you see, that's part of the code. You just support the people you see. You do what you know is right. You do what you've been taught to do. You know what I mean? So the little girl just came and asked me to open up a bottle of water while I was waiting to speak. Okay, all right. you know,
Yeah.
support where you can. Something as simple as opening up a bottle of water. Boom. Right. I can't stand wearing a mask. So that's why we usually wear the face shield. Then I went across the stage and I forgot. So that's why I told y'all I always had these scarves on for that reason. Instant mask. You know what I mean? But my whole point today is just to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, JP. You're an expert at this on your first go round. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
done brought people into the stream. You done shared stuff. You know how to work the controls. You're letting people see that this is possible. It is easy to do. You got a logo up in the corner. Do it. Keep doing it. You know what I mean? Even that is encouraging. So if somebody comes in and they don't watch, they will see visualization is something as well. So hey,
Yeah.
this I'm just
Thank
proud
you.
of you. You're welcome. I'm so
Thank you
proud
so
of you.
much.
So proud of Lewis. I keep forgetting the name of his channel. Third Coast Royalty,
Yeah.
right?
Royalty.
Third,
Hmm.
right,
Yes.
Third Coast. That's why I keep saying Lewis, but I want to say your channel name so as people listen, they hear it. But I'm gonna say goodbye for now because the show starts at 2. And for us, on East Coast time, it's 1:17. So I just got
Yeah.
to go get our costumes and stuff like that. And the house is open. I see people in the theater, but they're not up here in the balcony yet. I
Thank
love
you
you guys.
so much, Quita. We love you too.
Love
I
same.
appreciate you. You are my first shout out. So thank y'all so much. I'll be over there every
Oh,
day. Kiss Corey on the cheek for me, but just tell him it was you. I don't want him to know how I really feel.
ha ha, I know. Oh, you know what? That's another thing I wanted to say too. JP, you a real friend already. I was talking earlier about y'all were talking earlier about who's your family. Who's your friends. Yes, you are a real friend. You are family already. There are people that we can't call family in these streets because they don't think like us. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if they were born and raised with us. If they don't think like us and they're not on the same mission, we can love them, but we
Yeah.
just can't indulge them because it's taking our energy when we could really be out here doing so much more. I mean, you even got the ticker going across the bottom. Girl, you doing this thing. When I tell you this is what's up, I'm just naming all the nuances that people don't realize behind the scene. Keeping up with the comments, keeping up with your guests. It's amazing work you're doing on your first go round. So you're only going to get better.
Thank you. I learned from the best. So I appreciate you all. Enjoy your show. Thank you so much. Keep your spirit up.
All right. Thank you.
Uh,
Take care, everybody. I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you, Lewis.
All
I
right. Bye.
appreciate you so much. I It's important to me to have a young black man up here from time to time to say anything. And I'm going to tell you exactly the way that I tell the fellas that I meet in the streets. If you ever got a situation or you just need somewhere to unpack your black, you are welcome to come sit on my porch and talk about whatever it is that you think about, okay? Because we need that. From here, at some point, my goal is to do two things. One, I would like to start a podcast called Pros from the Porch. I am a disabled black woman and I spend a lot of my time on the porch. But I also meet a lot of people and deal with a lot of things that way. So I call myself a porch prophetess. But two, as I said early on, my focus is about the kids and the future. Demario left a 1 day old son. The young women that he who were the baby mamas in his life don't know anything about being a mother, let alone trying to heal a child's broken mental health state. And so my goal for them is to be able to create a nonprofit where they can go and rebuild themselves after one of these tragedies. What we didn't have was anybody to stand next to us, not an attorney, not a community program, anything. And one of the things that we need to do is provide a space for people to, thank you very much, Patrice, because I've been forgetting to say it this whole time, to unpack their black and try and to heal some of these things. And that's what this space for is for too, Lewis. Even though you don't like the term black, it does rhyme, and so I needed it. All of us Negroes
Oh
need
yeah, this
some
what I was gonna
place.
say though. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead,
Oh,
go ahead.
thank you. I was gonna say all of us Negroes need some place to unpack our black as a whole without being demonized for the things that we've been through, the way that we say it, or how we responded to it. We have to be able to get it out so that we can then get our thrive mentality on and move forward. But we have to unpack our black before we can ever get rid of the survival mindset. So you can go
This I
ahead.
was gonna say. Tariq Nasheed, shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. He
Okay.
said he uses the term foundational black American. Now I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? It's rooted in something and it says America as well. You know what I'm saying? So I like that
Yeah.
term foundational black American. I like that. I like that.
Okay. One more question
Opposed to
for you,
just
real
saying
quick.
black.
Right, but how do you feel about the fact that he does that because he's making a delineation in our lineage, right? He's making a split between our African lineage and our how do I put this? Our African cousins on the continent today, right? Like what he wants is for if there
Because
were
like I
to
said,
ever
I
be
remember
reparations,
we from here.
we
We
are
from
from
here.
here.
We from here. So the reparation belong to us. So yeah, it's a separation because as many people as people would think came out them boats, it wasn't. It wasn't as many as they think, and it was a lot of people already here. They had to go and get a black navigator to point out America. They didn't even know where America was, so they went and got a black person that had already, because excuse me, Africans had already circumnavigated the globe, so they knew how to get here. So they had to go get a black navigator. Excuse me. They had to go and get a
Hmm.
black navigator to point them out over here. And then when they got off the boat, it was already Negroes already over here. So foundational black Americans and reparations belong to us, the ones who built America. Now, are we
I
gonna get them reparations? That's another
hell
thing.
no.
We had to come together on that because a lot of other people are putting petitions together to get reparations. So, you know, I'm gonna
I
liberate myself first, and then I worry about the rest second.
right. I think we need to. We have a habit of waiting of waiting on hope, right? We hope that we're gonna get that stimulus
Yeah.
check, and so we'll wait until that stimulus check come. We hope that we're gonna get reparations, and so we're gonna wait on them reparations to come. Well, the reality is, if we want to get anything for our people in bulk, we're gonna have to do it for ourselves, and then we'll have a way to stand and demand like every other community. Patrice, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who said who just y'all encouraged me because a girl seriously, like I said, who am I? I'm in my mind's eye, I'm just a former stay-at-home mom who happened to get a culinary degree and raise some great kids. But I also know that I had a whole lot of
And you're a
privilege and
pro
a
from
whole
the
lot of
porch, man.
things. Thank you. I am.
You a pro
And
from the
and
porch, mom.
I have, something about that porch thing. I grew up in Memphis, and we sat on the porch. I remember, popping beans and talking to my godmother and the ladies in the community and watching life go by. And that counts for something. Our kids have too much time in a screen. I get it. It's part of where we are now, but we've got to give them some of the other things that we had too. And so here I am, y'all. I'm gonna show up. I'm glad that y'all show up. Miss Patrice, honey, your voice is so much better than mine. As soon as I get that podcast going, I'm gonna need you to come up at least once a week. And I'm not done, but y'all, we made it 3 hours. I thought I had 15 minutes in me, and y'all got me to 3 hours. I love you. And I love the lead attorney. I get when he's out there. Like, I know we're all like, bruh, it's $10. Why you acting all sappy like that? You a damn attorney. But the truth is, for somebody to hear what you said and appreciate it enough to drop $10 in your Cash App, that's life changing because
Mm.
you don't think that anything you say, like I said, the only people who listened to me before were my sons, and that was because they had to. So the idea that there have been up to 7 of you in this stream at one time just listening to me, y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing. So pat yourselves on the back, not me.
Man, it's the
But
beginning. It's the beginning. You have to plan for your success. Don't
yeah,
don't worry about where you at right now. Just plan for your success. Okay? That means you got to do the work brick by brick, lay in the foundation, and then from that foundation you build what you want. You can build an empire if you want. But until you lay
you're
the
right.
foundation or until you start and do the work, it ain't gonna come. So just do the
You're
work
right.
that you feel like needs to be done. Don't worry about your shortcomings. And like you said, celebrate your success. I don't really celebrate my success because I haven't accomplished my real goals. So I ain't gonna just
Right.
sit here and say, "Oh yeah, I did that." I ain't gonna because I'm not satisfied. You know what I mean? I don't. One
Yeah.
thing about me, I don't eat to get full. You know what I'm saying? I eat to be satisfied. Once I eat enough food that I've already had, then I'm good. I'm not gonna go back and eat more than I should already have in my body because a lot of us eat to get full, and that right there causes health problems. So that's the same
Yes.
thing as far as your success. You're gonna not be satisfied with mediocre success. So okay, this is one thing. Okay, boom. I planned for this.
Yeah.
I've foreseen this in my future.
Thank you so much, Unique View. I'm trying to make sure that when we get out here, we are at least talking about something that actually matters to us, and we're coming up with solutions. I'm not here for the problems, y'all. I will say this: when you come up, if I can continue to do this, well, I'm sorry, putting if out there is not going to work. As I continue to do this, when you do come up, one of the things that's going to be, you can state your problem, but you got to come with a solution too. We're going to be moving this ball forward. We're not just sitting here to complain. They can do all that over in the beefosphere and all the other places that they have, but over here in this community building space, I'll give you my compassion, but you're going to have to give me some answers. One of the things that I can
Yeah,
say, I
see, some
mentioned it
people
to.
minds ain't like that though.
That's true, but then they'll drop by the wayside or they'll grow. There's only two choices, right?
Gotcha,
Because I'm at this point we
gotcha.
steamrolling through this thing, so you can either get on board or you can get run over. And to that point, I mentioned earlier that I heard about a susu, so to speak, and it's basically, as I understand it, where folks come together, put their money in, and then one month one family gets that money, and then the next month a different family. My idea is different, and I'm going to put this here so I remember to put my chapter here. Uh, okay, so my idea is this. You all notice how, especially if you've been in the manosphere, that a video will go around and then like MTR will make a take on it, Kevin will make a take on it, and then O'Shea will as well. My idea is this: if we all come up with one topic that we're willing to do that month, we can do a whole bunch of other ones, right? But if we all come up with one topic that we're willing to do, let one of the smallest channels, I'm sorry, one of the smallest channels start it off, and then all of the bigger channels in turn go back using that person's video and build off of that and link back to that person. You will help that person grow their channel and grow their community too. And I think if we start moving deliberately, instead of it's just like me, Miss B Finesse, Quita do it on
On code.
individual bases, right? Instead of doing it on code, if we come together and say this is how we move inside of the struggle stream family. Today I made a video about how I murdered a fat chick. Tomorrow Quita and her 1,000 followers, she'll put something on there and be like about weight loss, and then click my video and then link back to me, and then the next person and the next person, and it travels around so everybody is getting that little bit. And we didn't do anything but just agree to one person getting the focus that month.
But that's the code. That's the code that you're talking about. That's the being on code that you're speaking of. If
Right.
we can get together, like you said, and use the smaller platforms to create content, because this is what you're talking about. You're talking about content creation. Like you said, they take a video from something that happened, or they take an incident from something that happened, and then it's the popular topic. See, people know how to use the algorithms, and they know how to use clickbait. Your
Yeah.
title is clickbait. I'm gonna be honest. That's exactly
Yeah.
why I clicked it. I clicked it because of I
I
murdered a
did
fat chick. I'm like, hold on, man. Wait a minute, man. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Hold on. They murder people on YouTube? Let me check this
it.
out, man. Let me see. So boom,
Perfect.
that's the content creation that you're speaking about. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you're a natural content creator. I'm a natural content creator. And there are other natural content creators out here. But it's more popular or it's more accepting when it's a social issue, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many social issues going on, you just pick one and people gravitate to that or magnate, they just come to it. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm like you. I'd rather grow a community than join a community because you don't know what you're getting into sometimes when you get to jumping in the clique. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been no clique hopping person. So I like to have my own everything. Like if I ain't got it, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get it. And me, like I told you earlier, I ain't opposed to doing what I gotta do to get it done.
Yeah. I'm with you. By any means necessary. Well, I will say this. I think that how do we make this deliberate? Because we can do it. Like just looking in my chat alone, Trash Can Waves has a page. Unique Views, Scorpion's working on it. I know for sure. So like that, if we can, you have 19 followers. I have 27. The idea that if we pick a topic, and that's the thing, the topics that we choose have to be real to black folks. I'm tired of the politics, the Nas X this, the such and such of that. How come we can't say, I've decided we're going to talk about mental health this week in this capacity? What it's like to be black with mental health illness in America. And well, we'll throw something in there salacious in the clickbait thumbnail maybe. But outside of that, we need to decide that what the topics are instead of the nonsense and the buffoonery, as O'Shea would put it. But so how do we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to
I think
control the
that's it.
narrative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
don't
have to
do enough
control
of
the
that.
narrative. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to control the narrative of your message. Meaning, we can take a topic that's already out there, or we can use clickbait that's already out there. But we have to control the narrative, and we have to bring facts. Me, I believe facts over feelings. Sometimes you might say something factual, and it might hurt somebody else's feelings. Like I said about the color black, there's only one place black exists on the planet. That's in the Black Sea. So that might hurt somebody. Somebody might be a proud black person. So they might feel like, hey man, he's talking about me. Okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna use that energy because energy can be used whether negative or positive. We're gonna use that energy and we're gonna cultivate that energy and we're gonna move that energy in whichever direction we see fit.
Yeah. I think that's it. And I just worry because like now I feel like am I speaking into the echo chamber? You, me, and Quita agree on I'll say 75% of things just to throw a number out there, right? So now the question is, how do we make sure that we're not just speaking in a silo? How do we make sure that we get it out further than just us? Is it just the clickbait or the idea that it's popular in the moment, or is it once we push it out there, this message alone will touch people enough? How do we make sure that it gets outside of our little bubble?
The way you said it earlier, we gotta use the smaller platforms along with the bigger platforms to get the message out as far as you can. Because once you put message out there, it goes out. It goes out.
Right.
People hear it, even though you may not get a direct response. it goes out. And like I said, you might get it, and it might go to this person, and they may not never say nothing else about it, but they may tell somebody eventually, and then that person may spread it. You see what I'm saying? The person that
Yeah,
heard it didn't spread it, but they spread it to one other person, and that person spread it to many people. So it
yeah.
don't matter what the information is, as long as it's actual and factual, and we get the information out there.
Look down. You read the whatchamacallit out loud for me. The chat right there.
Looks like Third Coast Royalty up 3 subscribers. Hey, one thing about me, man, I already know I've
Congrats.
already planned for my success. So I don't really try to push things out there on I don't push my ideology or I don't push my ideas on people. I
Yeah,
allow people to have their own mind, and if I say something that can inform you, then I will inform you. Or if you ask me a question, I will inform you on the situation. But I'm not gonna tell you, hey, think like me. I'm not that type of person. Like I said,
got
I'm
you.
a barber, so I talk to people every day. I literally listen to people every day, and every day they unpack their black with me, and I can receive that information because some people just need an ear to listen. They just need you to listen to them for a minute. They may already be going back home to a problem, or they may already have a solution to a problem, or they may not know what to do. But you gotta listen to them first to know what's going
Right.
on. So I
You
always
are
sit there, and
absolutely
while I'm cutting their hair, I'm listening to this person. I'm listening to them. They're gonna tell you everything that you need to know. It ain't even. I'm talking about from a barber's perspective. The problem that they're having, they're gonna tell you everything that's on their mind. Even if it's just, man, I watched a football game, or man, I watched a baseball game. Even if it's a good time, you know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to be a barber because I get to share a lot of experience with people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I get to help people out like that, man.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. We don't look
Man, these
at it
black
enough
folks
from that
don't do that
perspective.
enough. They want to be put. Hey,
We
hey,
don't
hey, you
go
know
ahead.
what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I feel. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm on your page, man. I'm on your page trying to dominate the stream.
You're fine. No, and you're fine. I
Nah,
listen.
I was
One of
reading.
the Listen, first of all, trash can waves will knock you off your square whenever he can. Don't even. It's his goal. It's his life's mission inside of a chat because I know this because it's also my life's mission. Besides the point, um, but one of the things is I listen. I get lost. First of all, you've got a fantastic smile, and just like I said, black men smiling, talking, positive. You are the thing that I was doing my best to raise with my sons, right? And with only my understanding of what my father was and what I thought my husband was supposed to be. That's what I used to put tools into them. But then I see you standing here, big old smile, proud of who you are, confident in your manliness, raising two girls and a boy with no, you know what I mean? I'll let you shine because you deserve that just for being a
But
black
see,
man in America. I don't care. You went through all of those things and baby, you are still here and you're not trying to survive. You are thriving and trying to help others. You are the exception to the rule in this moment and I'm proud of you so you can have all the shine you need on my channel even if I ain't got but 2 followers. You got it?
that what's up, man? Yeah, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But like I was saying earlier, man, I like to plan for my success. And I have planned. And then another thing too, I ain't gotta tell nobody what my plan is. You know what I'm saying? I know what my plan is, so I ain't gotta say nothing about it. I just know what I want. I had a barber like that. I just know what I want. You know what I'm saying? And I go get it. Like I said, if I fall short
Come
of
on.
whatever goal, if I fall short of whatever goal that I thought that I was trying to accomplish, then I set a new goal. Or, I just keep going. I ain't gonna let no one I'm not gonna let one failure dictate my outcome. I can have 1,000 failures. It's the one success.
Keep going. I
It's the
can't hear you.
one success that will get me there. Okay. It's the one success that gets me there. I can fail at a lot of things that I do, but that's not gonna deter me from continuing to do other things. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue. And until the end, until the wheels fall off. I'm gonna ride this joke until the wheels fall off. You feel me? I ain't hey,
Okay, so
shoot, hey.
I think
One more
y'all,
thing,
I
one
don't
more
even
thing,
know.
one more thing. Did what I was gonna say. Did what I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
when you was talking. It took a village to raise me. I'm a product of what they say when they say it takes a village to raise a child. I'm a product
Yes.
of that. See, that's what I think in my mind. I'm a product of it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Because even though my grandparents didn't let nobody else whoop me, now don't think I mean these people whoop my butt. Didn't nobody
Mhm.
hit me but my folks. You're not gonna put your hands on my people. But
Right.
I would be at other folks' house. I already knew how to conduct myself as a young child. But my peers, some of them didn't know how to conduct themselves, and they had to go back and this person told their auntie, and auntie told mama, and mama told grandmama, and grandmama told daddy, and daddy get on you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I come from. I come from a village that raised a child. Like I said, my mom and daddy wasn't here, even though I had my mom and dad. My mom lived in North Carolina and my dad lived down the street. But at the same time, I got up every day with my grandma and my granddad. So I give them
Give him props.
the respect that they deserve. You feel me what I'm saying?
Yeah. I will say this: I too am a product of the village, even though I grew up military from 0 to 5. I lived in Memphis and had a small community that was a 6 block radius. And then when we were military, like I said, we had to build our own little family and communities. And you black in Germany, that looks entirely different. Yes, my vivid life. I thought I was only going to have 15 minutes, honey. And thanks to Lewis, I've been up here 3 hours and 15 minutes. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for helping me to do this and get here. And I can't wait for us to grow further. But one of the things I want to say is one of the things I say all the time, Lewis, is that I want us to be the village we want to raise the future. When I go out and I speak, when I move, how I act, what I do is a reflection of what I want to see in the world. Because what is the only thing that we can do? Where'd it go? This one. Lead by example. And the only way
Come
for me
on,
to
bro.
lead by example is for me to get up here, to get on this platform, to get out on Twitch where I know 20 somethings are and pretend like I know video games. Listen, first of all, I'm original black girl nerd. I used to know how to play Tekken and all of those things, and I'm still working on. I'm gonna work on it just so that I can be able to communicate with folks younger than me if that's where they are. Like I said, you got to meet them wherever they are and then bring them along. So I'll do that. But like you said, you're a product of the village. I am too. We need to become that village. And so that way, once we become that village, we're examples for other people. That's my goal.
But
That's
it's
my goal.
harder.
And
It's harder now. It's harder now to trust other families. I had seen somebody had put on the thumbnail, or you had it up on the thumbnail that now I got whooped at auntie and uncle's house. Now auntie and uncle can whoop you, but I wasn't always with auntie and uncle. Sometimes I was with the neighbor, and then sometimes I was with a friend of the neighbor. Sometimes I was with the lady from down the street. So these people may not treat your kids the way you would treat
yeah,
them, or the way auntie would treat them. They may not whoop your child the way that another stranger would whoop them. That's why I don't. That's why I said what I said when I say other people can't touch your kids unless you trust that person. Because now it's different from in 1992 when I was in the second
right.
grade. You know what I'm saying? It's
So
different
then
from then.
my question to you then is that do we have to have a standard along with the code, right? Like a parenting standard. Apparently, the code is to stand on your blackness, but do we have to have a parenting standard inside of that for how you are? So, like, if I'm going to have your kids at my house, you know that I live by that same set of parenting standards. That if I were to spank your child, it's because of this situation, or hey,
Exactly.
is the parenting
Exactly.
code, period. You don't put your hands on my
Exactly.
kids, but you call me so I can.
No, it ain't like that. It's like the code, like you're speaking of.
Okay.
If this person, first of all, you have to teach your kids at home, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got to teach your kids how to conduct themselves when they're at other people's house. Like me, I worked at a barbershop before I got my own shop. I worked at a barbershop that the owner didn't allow the kids to like be rambunctious. He didn't let the kids jump on the furniture. You know what I'm saying? Then I worked at another shop. The dude didn't care what the kids did because he know they're kids and they're just playing and they having fun. So he one person had a different standard from the other person. So neither one of them was wrong though. Neither one
Right.
of them was wrong because the person who didn't allow kids to jump on their stuff, he had nice stuff. Even though the other dude had nice stuff too, he would go buy new stuff if you broke his stuff. That's the type of mindset he had. He wanted to get new stuff. So if your child came in and broke something, thank you. Now I can go get a new one. That's a different mindset from the other guy. The other guy was like, don't break my stuff. I cherish my stuff. I have good stuff. Don't touch my stuff. So that's both two
Yeah.
good mindsets. That's both two good forms of parenting, right? But at the same time, is how much are you gonna allow another person to get away with you? So you got to teach your kids how to conduct themselves when they're around other people and at other people's houses, so that they can represent you when you're not around. See, if you just let your kid go and do anything, then a lot of things will happen. I done seen people
Right.
come drop their kids off at the barbershop. This is no lie, man. A lady, single parent, I'm not talking about her, no, I'm not talking about nobody, but some single mothers will come drop their kids off at the barbershop and don't come pick them up for 2, 3, 4 hours later. I've had one child, I kept the little boy all day. But we had fun. I fed him. We played, we giggled. I treated him like my little nephew or something. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
didn't treat the little boy like, hey, his mom needs to come get him. And I called her. I called her and asked her, oh, I'm on my way. But the whole
Mm.
time she wasn't, because she knew how I was with kids. Later on,
Yeah.
I talked to her. You know what I'm saying? And I got the okay.
411. You know, one of the things that when you say that, like, we have this, we seem to forget that whatever decisions we make and the things that we do affect our child's innocence, right? Because in that moment, had you been a different kind of dude, you could have said, "Where the hell your mama at? This
I've
essence is
seen it
such and such and
happen.
so and
I've
so,"
seen that
you
happen. I've
know.
seen that happen. Yes,
And
I've
so
seen that
we
happen.
don't think about that enough. Like we were talking earlier, I was saying to a blind guy, his wife, their life. It's the little things that we sometimes aren't cognizant of. Like I said, it's hard for me because for me, my situation with my ex is mine, and in that regard, I see him as my whatever. But he's also the father of my children, and so I have to be mindful of that. And when I speak, I never speak from a place of animosity towards him to them, because they can hear it. Even if it's just something as simple as my son throwing a temper tantrum and me saying, "Oh, you got that from your daddy." Is it actually that bad? No. Is it as bad as, see, there you go, acting like, it's not that level, but it still affects your child on a micro level, because they know that means you don't like their daddy, or at least that behavior in their father. And we have to think about that, and we don't do it nearly enough. Um, I just, like I said, being deliberate with your words, as Patrice said, making sure that charity begins at home, charity and compassion and grace. If you are willing to see your child as simply a child and not willing to over sexualize them because the world over sexualized them, not willing to expect and demand, 20-year-old things from a 7-year-old boy. Yeah, one of the things that I've seen recently is a bunch of single mothers who tell their sons, "You're the man of the house" at a very young age. No, go out and find you a damn man to be the man of your house. As a child, allow them to be children. Allow them to keep their innocence. Allow them to grow as just that. And when you steal their innocence, it. I tell people all the time, the reason why I am the goofy 45-year-old that I am now is because no one ever took my innocence from me in that way. My parents allowed me to be a child, and then I had my children young, and I got to enjoy their innocence and their childhoods. I didn't try to snatch it from them. And now at 45, I can still stand out here in a unicorn onesie at the middle of the day and act goofy with any other little kid, because I didn't lose sight of that. And we got to figure out how to make sure we don't lose that for our children.
Right. And I'm glad that you have started this stream. I'm glad that you have started this page. I
Thank you.
mean, you are a natural, like they just said earlier. You got the radio voice. You got the mind. You know what I'm saying? You got the mind. So all that goes together. You know what I'm saying? It's just pros from the porch. It's already stuck in my head right now. Pros from the porch, because I'm a professional. Like, I'm a professional barber. When I cut
Yeah.
somebody's hair, I'm paying attention to detail. I'm
Yeah.
um, I'm making sure my fade is crisp. I'm making sure my lineup is crisp. I'm making sure that I'm getting nose hairs. I went to a hair show one time. Never forget this. It was a hair show in Atlanta. The Barnum Brothers hair show. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the stage was all men. It was all men. I'm talking about barbers. These guys are rich. They have several barbershops. I only got one. These guys had several barbershops. It was a dude up here with gold clippers. His clippers were 24 karat gold plated clippers, right? But he didn't say nothing that stuck with me. It was the one woman on the stage with him that said something that stuck with me. She said that I cannot stand a barber that nickel and dimes their customers. Tip your barber. That's right, Patricia. Tip your barber. She said I cannot stand a person that nickel and dimes a customer. Meaning I charge $10 for this. I charge $30 for that. I charge $5 for this. A person might just want to, get that mustache lined up. Oh, that's $15. Or I might just want design in my head today. That's another $25. Me, I'm like that woman who I saw. She said she got one price. I have one price. Now, whatever service you want from me, you fall under that price. I'm not gonna charge you to trim your nose hairs. I'm not gonna charge you to get the hairs out of your ear. I'm not gonna charge you for all those little things. I have one price. So that's one standard that you're talking about when it comes to raising your kids. It's one price. We're going to have one standard and we're going to live by that standard and have morals and we're going to have ethics behind these things because that's
Listen,
how we were raised. Our grandparents and parents had morals. Now, did we lose our way? I'm going to say yeah. But I ain't going to blame it on the music. A lot of people try to say, well, it's the music that got people. No, I listened to Tupac growing up, and it did not affect me like other people say rap music affected them. I looked at it as a message, and I
I,
took that message and used it in my way. I didn't take the message and allow the message to use me. I used it
oh,
how
but
I felt.
see, right, but that's the thing that you're saying that's different. You took the message, you digested it, spit out the bones, and took and used everything else, right? What the problem is, and what people say, and I'm one of them. This is why I have a theme song. It, we don't actually listen to the music that we're consuming, not the words. We listen to the beat and ooh, can we rock to it? That's it. But if
I'm
you
gonna say the
listen to
majority
the
of them. Not
words, right?
everybody, not everybody, but the
Right, but the
majority.
majority.
Yeah,
If you listen to the words and you actually studied them, would you be putting that into your body? If you took those words and turned them into food, is it clean, healthy food or rotten food? If it's rotten
right.
food, throw it away. That's the thing. It's not so much that, they have this big hold over us in general. It's the idea that we're not paying attention to what we're consuming at all. And so we're just ingesting a bunch of death.
I agree. I agree. A lot of stuff is not worthy to be consumed, but we do consume these things because I'm gonna say this because a lot of people are in a place where they don't want to be at. So if you're in a place of misery, right? If you're
Yeah.
miserable and you don't want to be here, you're looking for an escape. So that song may be your escape. You may can relate to this song, or this song may sound good to you, or this may be your favorite artist, or anything like that. This how I do my barber. Yeah, you can tip your barber. I'm gonna say that one more time for the nation, man. Tip your barber, man. I'm not Muslim and like I just like saying for the nation. I like that phrase too. I got a lot of phrases that I say because I'm a
That's
barber. So I
okay.
got phrases that I use, and for the nation is one of my phrases, and tip your barber is for my one of my phrases too. So tip your barber, man. Everybody, tip your
Definitely.
barber, man. Tip your
Listen,
barber, man.
my barber, and I don't mean my barber, my son's barber was one of the best things that ever happened to my life. At the same time, right when I had had my gastric bypass surgery, their father deployed. So what happened? I had my surgery in April of 2007, and he deployed, I believe, in like October. And then I got three little boys. They need haircuts, and don't nobody want that little ugly bowl cut that your mama used to give you. It's not fair. And so we found a barber. But that meant that their dad was gone. So Dewan, which was his name, every 2 weeks he would talk to my boys, sit them in the chair, cut their hair. We're going about this, we're doing that. Hey, are you listening to girls? Da, da, da. And to his credit, unless it was something that could actually harm my sons, he didn't come and tell me anything. And I
Exactly,
appreciated that.
exactly. You
I
gotta keep it in the
appreciated
barbershop.
that. Right. Those are
Yeah,
man rules. I don't know man rules. Right. I do
yeah,
kind of, but
exactly,
you know what I'm saying? Those are man
exactly.
things. And to have another man say, nah, I'm not going to talk to your mama about this unless, and he told them, unless you tell
Yeah.
me something where I think you putting yourself or your mother in danger, I'm going to let it go.
Right, right, exactly.
You
I do the
know?
same thing with my kids and my parents. Like I tell this another thing I tell the little kids that come in my shop. Y'all better stop playing with y'all mama before she beat y'all tail. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you, you in here and you I'm cutting your hair and you having fun while you ain't with your mama. But now if you come in here and you be disrespectful and I tell your mama, she gonna tear your butt up. So I'm trying to teach you how to keep from getting your butt towed up. So I teach a lot of little boys that, you know, respect your mama first, right? And then try to gain some type of independence so you don't have to lean on your mama all the time, while you don't have to ask her so much. Gain some sense of I start with hygiene. I teach the kids hygiene first. Brush your teeth, wash yourself good. Cause when I used to go stay with my daddy for the weekend, shit, my daddy used to bathe me. My daddy bathed me. I know until I was like 6, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
ain't had to worry about it till after then. But after then, you know, I gained my own responsibility. But I teach my kids how to bathe themselves. You know, I bathed my kids till they were about 5. I know till they were 4 or 5. You see what I'm saying? So I know that they can bathe themselves properly. So I
Right.
always start with hygiene. When I talk to little boys, I talk to them about their hygiene. Because a lot of little boys just love to eat candy and they little teeth be messed up. And then they mama take them to the dentist and get them little caps on their teeth. And I'm trying to tell them, you don't want that gangster grill. You don't want
Yeah.
that gangster grill. So listen, when you
Exactly.
when you when you get up in the morning, make sure you take care of your teeth, take care of your hygiene, make sure you got on clean underwear. You know, I always start from there. And then that gets kids to listening. That gets them to listening in. So they start listening. Now, once I got their attention, I ask them what they like. You know, then once I ask them what they like, I ask them, do they like sports? Because a lot of life lessons can be learned through sports. Now, all kids ain't interested in sports. Some kids might want to be in a band, or some kids might like to play video games. I ain't against video games, or I ain't against being on your phone like that. You know what I'm saying? But like you said earlier, with the food, you do it in moderation.
Exactly.
You got to
You got to give
moderate
them
these
around.
things.
You got to
Pull
give
that
the kids as
trash in the
many
bathroom.
well-rounded things as possible. And trash can waves. Yes, I've shared bath water. I am the middle daughter, and I kept my space as the middle child so that I would not end up with the dirty cold bath water. But I will say this: I have a younger sister, and when she was small, there was an incident in the bathtub, and I will just say that some things went floating by both of us, and
Hey,
it didn't come from me.
I was a middle child too. I was a middle child too.
You know.
At first, my mom had 3 kids. My oldest brother, me, and my brother next to me. Me and my younger brother. I was born in '84. He was born in '85. We were very, very tight. So it was us three. And then, a few years later, my mom had 2 more kids. Okay. So the middle child, that's me. The halfway cold bath water, yeah, that's me. But my oldest brother, he a champion. My oldest brother is a champion. Like, my oldest brother took my mom and took a lot of pressure off of her, because she put a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on him at a very young age. He's 3 years older than me. So he was 3 years old and I was a baby. So he had to take care of me at 3. You see what I'm saying? Because she was a single mother. After she got with my dad, they broke up and they got back together. But for a long time, it was just me and my brother. And then my other brother came the next year, and then it was just us 3, and my mom was single again. Right? So my oldest brother had to take care of us two babies, and he ain't but 3 years older than us. And he used to hurt him. He used to really, really hurt him, because a lot of things he knew and a lot of things he didn't know. So he a champion for cooking. I'm talking about my brother at 10 years old can cook a complete meal at 10 years old. And I got ants crawling on me.
Ooh.
I'm in the woods. Don't worry about it. I'm used to it. So at 3 years old, my brother was a champion, man. I'm talking about he took care of us to take it off our mom, because my mom was working 2 jobs. I would only go over there like on the weekends and stuff. You know what I'm saying? My mom
Yeah.
was working 2 jobs. So she working 2 jobs. My brother, he's what, 10? You know what I'm saying? He gotta cook breakfast. My brother can make biscuits from scratch at 10 years old. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
That's
this
amazing.
you feel, but that took the pressure off my mama. Now she can get some rest. She ain't got to come in here and fuss at us and make us clean up the house. She can fuss at my older brother. Now he can make sure he don't get a whooping, even though it was harsh on him, because he used to get whoopings for the stuff that we did. So he had to make sure that we took care of stuff, so he didn't get no whooping. And if he got a whooping, he made sure we knew about it. So, you know what I'm saying? I applaud him a lot, just like I applaud my grandma and my granddaddy. I applaud my oldest brother a lot, because he was there when my mama wasn't there. She would go to work. Like I said, she worked 2 jobs just to pay her rent. You see what I'm saying? She worked two
Yeah.
jobs to pay her rent. So she wasn't there when we was over there sometimes. And then I couldn't cook. I couldn't even hardly see the stove. My brother was a little bit taller than me, but he was smart enough to know to get a chair. You see what I'm saying? He was smart.
Yeah.
He was hip, like he was hip because he had his grandma when he went home. He stayed with his grandma too. His dad's mother. My mom stayed by herself basically. And and like I said, my mom was young, so she had us young. I don't know if can you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay, I can hear you now. So my mom had us young, and so a lot of stuff overwhelmed her. She got overwhelmed with a lot of things. So
yes.
my brother took a lot of that pressure off of her by just being who he is and being responsible at a young age for his younger siblings. I want to read this comment while I put my
Can you see it?
yeah, I got it.
Okay. Um, One thing that I can say, you're right when you say that being a single mother is hard. I never wanted to be a single mother. As I've made clear, I obviously chose to leave my marriage, and it wasn't for reasons that people think. When you're 19 and 20. Or you should be well aware that there's a high likelihood that someone will cheat, that there may be a small moment of domestic violence. That's the reality of being young humans trying to figure out how to deal with your emotions while you're trying to raising a child. That's just raise a child. That's just the reality of it. But having said that, over a while, one of the things that happened when I did end up having to step away from my marriage, it was because I didn't see the thing that what I knew was supposed to be alpha male standards across the board was not being given to my sons. And that was difficult for me. And so I went ahead and did what I thought was best for all of us, right?
Mhm.
Um, but having said that, when it was just me and the fellas, there were times when I had way too much weight on my shoulders, right? And my sons felt that. I remember my middle being 14, and me and the youngest had gotten into an argument, and he was just standing there upset, visually angry, and I thought he was mad at me. He was mad at himself because he couldn't figure out how to stop us from arguing.
Right.
That broke my heart.
Because he don't know. This is a child. A child doesn't know. He doesn't know what's wrong. He only knows good things. Kids only gravitate towards good things. If it's bad and if it hurt and if it's danger, they go away from that. But if it's something fun and happy and jovial, they'll be attracted to that. So once the child reads your emotions, because they don't understand emotions, but they understand facial features. So once that
Exactly.
child reads your emotions and checks your temperature, meaning getting that energy from you, that negative energy that they're getting from you, that's gonna cause them to pause. Like, hold on, wait a minute, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? Tell me something. So that's that is what kids go through. And like I said, I understand child behavior. I
Yeah.
I kind of study child behavior. I It's one of the things that I study because, like I said, I deal with children when they come to the shop and get their haircut. and,
Hmm.
and the mama, you will have a mama or a daddy. I know single fathers. I got one client, he is a single father of maybe 3 or 4 kids. His wife was run over by a drunk driver walking to the store, so he had to raise his kids by himself, and he did not complain not one time. You see what I'm saying? He went
Yeah.
to work and he did what he had to do for his. He had daughters. Yeah, he had a daughter. His daughter is old, as a matter of fact, and he's had children by other women since then. But at the time, he only had the two that he had with her, his daughter and his son. So
Hmm.
I understand when kids come in, I can look at their appearance first. That's the first thing I'm gonna look at before I even open my mouth and say anything. I'm gonna greet that person, and then I'm gonna look at their appearance. And then
Hmm.
once I look at their appearance, I'm gonna go in my mind and feel like what I think is, what's going on, right? And then once I get them in the chair, then I'm gonna just let them open up to me, and then I'm gonna make another assessment, another another. I'm gonna analyze it again after I let them speak, and that's when I'm gonna regurgitate my information as far as what I see in that situation for a child in order to give him positive reinforcement. I'm gonna help a kid out. Like me personally, I'm gonna help a kid out. And I've had bad children. I've had children that came to my shop and been bad. Wouldn't be still, wouldn't hold their head still. I tell the mom, hey man, he's not being still. She can't even tell him to be still. You know what I'm saying? She can't even control it. And then that's when I step in and then I hold their head. I call it the claw. I give them the claw then. So once you get the claw on your head, yeah, it's over for you, buddy. You got the claw, buddy. You know what I'm saying? I got you in the clinch. So
Trash can.
sometimes
Wait,
you
I'm
got to
sorry.
do that. Go ahead.
Trash can waves. Where are you meeting these women? What shows are you watching? What is this? These mothers that's letting maggots be in the baby's diapers, but they dressing themselves nice should be ashamed. Listen, I know this is a thing that exists. Dr. Tia San Johnson talks about a lot, but trash can waves. Who you be hanging out with is what I want to know. That's
Trash
it.
can ways is he full of it
It's,
sometimes
I
too. He
told you
wild.
he a mess.
He a wild
But
dude. He a wild dude.
you're absolutely correct. It takes us being able to observe children. Like I said, as children, we have this habit of, for instance, I do think it's inappropriate for our children to be listening to WAP. I also think it's inappropriate for them to twerk. But at some point, children just jump up and down and bounce their behinds because it's what children do. It's a different experience that they're trying to learn. They're exploring.
They
And
mimicking.
when
They're mimicking.
exactly.
Yeah, they're
And so
mimicking.
we've got to know how to, curb the behavior without, by the way, you just said this, without calling them bad. We have to make sure that we say the behavior is bad and not the being, right? Kids are
Correct.
sensitive. And if you say
Correct.
that you're
Correct.
being a bad boy, he's going to take that to mean literally he's a bad boy and not
Correct.
that right now he's doing wrong. But,
Correct. Behavior is behavior. But I also believe that behavior is learned or taught. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's why I said what I said like that. Because I think behavior is one of those things that's either learned or taught. You're not born with behavior, or you're not born with knowledge of other stuff like that. You have to learn this stuff. That's why I said it like that. I apologize if I
no,
didn't come out correctly.
no, you're great, and that's the thing. We have to learn and grow. Right? If we're sitting here, if I'm having this conversation with you, and then I tell you, we have to make sure that we use all the teachable moments that we can, and in that moment, I don't say anything to you. I'm not standing on my square. I'm not doing exactly what it is that I'm telling other people that I expect them to do, and that's just not something that I can roll with. If I'm going to tell you that, I think you as a young black man should be out here doing this, that, and the third with these children, then I had damn sure better be already out there in front showing you how it's done. Um, and at that point, y'all, we've been out here for 3 hours and 40 minutes. Louis, you are a trooper, bruh. I am too, but I got a old lady bladder. So thank you all. Thank you to everybody for showing up and listening to me. I appreciate y'all so much. I'll definitely be back next Saturday, but y'all might find out that I'll be here on Saturdays and Sundays. I feel like y'all should be cleaning and listening to music and listening to me. I just, maybe that's my
Salute.
ego.
I would definitely subscribe to your page, and I would definitely be listening or waiting for you to come back on. Cause
Thank
you
you
got
so
you got another topic that you need to come up with, and then I'm just waiting on you to come up with it. Cause you murdered this fat chick today.
much.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. I
Yes,
think
you
the
did.
next topic is going to be why I don't have any friends.
All that. I'm here for all that.
Um,
I got time.
so
I got time.
thank you all. I appreciate y'all so much. But like I said, at 45, my bladder can't take it no more. I don't know how the lead attorney can be up here for 8, 9 hours. I love you all dearly. Thank you so much. None of you are subscribers to me. I call you citizens because in this life, the only thing that we want is to find some peace in this big ass community, right? So y'all aren't my followers, subscribers, or any of those other things. You are citizens. Together, we're going to create a safe, peaceful place for us to unpack our black and have a good time in the process. So
Amen.
thank you all so much. Please share, like, get anybody else to watch, join, and yeah, I think I'll probably be back tomorrow, but I'll put it up later. Thank you all so much, Lewis. You are my co-host forever in spirit, even if you decide not to come back. Thank you.
Yeah, salute to you, man. I salute to you. I
Yeah,
applaud you, and I wish you all the luck because I know you're gonna do what you came to do. So you know what I'm saying. Handle your business, like my daddy would
thank
say.
you
Handle
so
your
much.
business. Handle your business.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Keep your spirit up.
No doubt, baby.